Hello, everybody. Hi. Hello. Hi. How are you doing this fine Monday, July 13th? It is 11:29 a.m. I had to come on here 2 minutes early today because I just can't wait. I couldn't wait for a second longer. I have so much to say. I'm just going to give you a warning. All the stuff I have to say isn't all going to get said today. I have probably just the stuff I found this weekend and came across this weekend is going to take me at least until tomorrow to get to. I almost did like a poll type thing. It was like, okay, which issue do y'all want to hear about? Or topic do y'all want to hear about for sure today? I almost did like a members only poll, but I made the executive decision not to go with the second, not to go with the poll. I made the executive decision to go with what order I think I want to go in based on the fact that I want to do a little bit more research into some court records on one thing. So I will let you know. I'm being attacked. I'm being targeted by a fly or something. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Okay. Um, okay. So let me see. All right. So the topics that I do have to talk about, again, I don't know if I'm going to get to all of them today. We got to talk about Medina Dore. We have to talk about the corrupt, lying, oath breaking cop, Medina Dore, because over the weekend, some horrendous and heinous videos of her wrestling pigs. Okay, we already knew she was a pig wrestler. Okay, magically piglicious. But I came across some videos. Okay, somebody sent me one of them, and I don't know, maybe somebody sent me both of them. I don't really know. I can't keep track of what people send me, but somebody definitely did alert me to the fact these videos exist. Now, we're not going to go straight over to the YouTube channel and just play and watch the video because, quite frankly, it is horrendous. And even if it didn't violate, like the terms of service, whatever, I don't want to play that stuff on my channel. However, I did take it upon myself to edit, censor the video. And so we're going to watch two of those. And again, they are censored slash edited. Okay, we're going to talk about some other stuff I found about her in the public record. We're going to talk about the pig wrestling. We're going to talk about the wedding, the first wedding that's in the public record. We did find out in the last live stream that I did do about her. Somebody, thank you to the person who sent me the information. She has now had two husbands. She's on her second one. We also are going to talk about, in addition to Medina Dore, there's just some updates that have happened over the weekend, and also I think maybe on Friday too. It had already happened when I did my last live stream, but this deals with the full phone call with Kai McAllister that Crystal Gorman posted. We are going to talk about that. And that's the second topic that I couldn't decide, do I want to lead today? Does I want the main topic to be Medina, or do I want the main topic to be Kai McAllister? Because that's something that I did want to get into, and I have found some crazy stuff about his family, all public information and filed in court, believe it or not. I know that y'all are probably very eager to hear about that, but I wanted to, like I said, that's the topic that I wanted to look a little bit more into the public record and into the court record to see if I can get some more information before I cover that completely. However, we will be still talking about the Crystal Gorman conversation that was posted, and that's the one you may remember that was posted just on, like, I think Friday. And I'm paraphrasing here. Crystal and or Ben, who are a husband and wife couple, they were on the phone with Kai McAllister recording him. This now has been posted, just the audio, has been posted now. But in it, he said something along the lines of, I know that what I'm saying, again, paraphrasing, I know what I'm saying sounds threatening, and it kind of is a threat. Yeah. Put a one in the chat if you know what I'm talking about there. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I don't know, again, if we'll get through the whole conversation or anything like that, because I do want to spend a full segment on Kai McAllister coming up on one of my future live shows, probably this week. There's also been other updates this weekend. Ben has been featured on some additional interviews that have come out lately over the last few days. We have a couple podcast appearances, interview appearances that he's been on. And I got Zachariah Perry's book. This is the guy who owns Fortune Law. He's the one that, Fortune Law, the exclusive partner of Fortress, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then, put a 2 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. I have only read like this much of it. So I'm like little less than halfway through, maybe a third of the way, maybe a little between a third and halfway through. I haven't read every single word, but, I do have, my little notes and stuff here. And I'm starting to sense a pattern going on, but I do need to continue reading. I'm starting to sense a pattern, and it smells like Veil Corporate. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about. Okay. So that was an update. Okay. I have a few other like memes and funny things to look at, and then I have a whole nother segment that we probably will not get to today, but I do want to get to eventually on Art McOmber, because come to find out, it might be a family affair doing all this financial expertness and all of that. Okay. Might be a family affair. Okay. So, all right. That's the roadmap. We're, like I said, not even going to probably broach. I always forget what the name is. I think it's breach. We're not even probably going to breach the Art McOmber subject, but that is one of the things, one of the topics that I was able to delve into a little bit more deeply this weekend. And I want to discuss that with y'all on the live show eventually, but probably won't happen today. So we're going to start with Medina Dore. And this is the police officer, now she's a detective who was featured in a couple of my recent live shows. Okay, I got my notes right here because there's some stuff I wanted to remind y'all of. If you're here right now, you probably have seen my show already, so you're probably familiar with some of this, but just to get us all back on the same page, again, I'm going to look at my little notes here. Medina Dore is a detective with the Provo Police Department. She was assigned, or somehow, has the lead role in the reckless bin investigation in Provo. Okay, so the Provo Police Department, and more on that in a moment. She has been sued for causing someone to die in her custody, or, not telling the appropriate medical staff what the full scope of this person's condition was, and he just died in custody. And this was after she didn't tell the hospital staff, like I said, that this guy, the victim, had ingested on purpose substances in an attempt to unalive himself and all of that. And so this guy dies, and the mom sues her and like the police department and some others. Okay. And so she tried to get the case dismissed on qualified immunity. Cops and judges and stuff, they have this immunity crap. Well, the judge did not dismiss the case. The judge did not dismiss the case, and the case eventually settled in about 2024. Now, the very next year after the settlement of an undisclosed amount, we don't know how much. Remember, that's taxpayer money. Okay, that's your money, especially if you live in Provo. Having at least one person die in her custody, but the very next year after they settled, she went ahead and got awarded for her behaviors. Okay, she got awarded Employee of the Month the very next year after this taxpayer dollars had to go to a settlement. Now, all of that information is public, and we have talked about all of it. So in addition to that, this bitch lied to a judge in a search warrant affidavit under criminal penalty. Yes, she did. She told Ammon McNeff previously, back in December 2025, we all agree there's no code for extortion. That did not stop her 2 months later from turning around and writing under criminal penalty to a judge that she was investigating this supposed non-existent extortion, and there was some type of evidence of this extortion on Ben's personal hard drives. Okay, and it's not his hard drives, his Google account. She wanted his Google data. She wanted his IP address, latitude, longitude, all of this stuff. And it was because of some supposed extortion and commercial obstruction. Neither one of those was Ben ever charged with. And in fact, and indeed, 2 months before she wrote those words down that she was supposedly about to find something about extortion, she said she knew that there was no extortion. Okay, this is a public servant who is tasked with enforcing the law, but also obviously following the law. Let's see. So the lie led to an unconstitutional violation of Ben Schneider's rights against his will and also against his knowledge. This went on for the extent that he did not even know He did not even know that the search warrant had been gotten from Google until, like, I think a month and, what was it, 3 months later? Months later. So this information that they got from Ben from his Google accounts was by definition actually literally private information. And so this overly broad search warrant gave Medina and the government in general, right? This isn't just Medina. Like, I think some people are starting to kind of get the signals crossed here, y'all. This isn't just some girl that's stupid. I mean, I know she is some girl and I know she is stupid. She is the government. Okay? She is the government. She is a public servant and she is supposed to be enforcing the law, not breaking it. Okay? Hello? This isn't just some girl we don't like. She is some girl. You might not like her. She's the government. She's the face of tyranny. She's the face of corruption. She's the face of a liar, of a tyrannical government. Do you see that flag back there? We've been throwing tea over in harbors because of tyrannical government since before this shit was even a country. Hello? She's the government. She is the government. Anytime you start feeling a little bit bad and, oh, we shouldn't be holding Medina accountable, she's the government. And after you see what she did to these pigs, you might not feel as bad anymore. That being said, as I say every video, as I say in the description, as I say in the scrolling banner down below, do not contact anybody mentioned in this video. It's not going to help. It's not going to help. What helps is transparency and true accountability. When the public expresses its dissatisfaction lawfully and loudly enough, that's when change gets made. When the public decides to take it upon yourself, because I'm not going to even say ourselves, because I would never do this, to go and stalk or harass or call and, death threat, this, that, and the other, nothing happens to hold those people accountable. And then they're able to flip it and act like they're a victim. Okay. So we're not doing that. And that's not what I'm encouraging. That's not what I have ever encouraged. Okay. And I never will. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to shed light on who exactly it is who is, I think, breaking the law. Not only not enforcing it, but breaking it, in my opinion. I hope there's a real investigation. Actually, I hope that not only is she fired, I actually hope she faces criminal consequences because she makes every cop look bad. Every cop ought to be pissed off at Medina. Everyone. Now, this information that she got from Ben, the government got from Ben, is by definition private. His unreleased videos, his unreleased projects, his Google Drive, this all happened without his knowledge, without his consent, and without his opportunity to even have a lawyer argue why it shouldn't be turned over. Because now, forever and always, they have all that information. You think they just deleted it? Hell no. Hell no. It's preposterous, and it was all based on a lie. She said it was for extortion when she had previously admitted there was no code they could charge Ben with for extortion. Now, Medina Dore is not a private citizen. Medina Dore voluntarily filled out a job application and went and did interviews to become a cop. And now she's a detective. She is a public servant who we have to entrust with not just enforcing the law, but also following it. And finally, I want to remind you, Medina invited us to look into this when she said, you'd think that Ben would have something else to look into. Let me remind y'all of that.
For some reason they think that I'm the one that some reason, they think that I'm the keyboard warrior. At this point, it almost seems like everything Bricks and Minifigs is doing, for some reason, they think that I'm the one that's the one doing it.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you guys. Hopefully, no more issues. There's so many other things that this guy could, like, be talking about, right?
No, 100%. But sometimes, you know, like, it's a sunk cost fallacy. They just think, oh, I put so much time and effort into this, I gotta make sure something happens.
You would think that the sky, there's so many other things that the sky. Adam Schechter, let me invite you to kiss my motherfucking ass. I'll move my hands as much as I want to, and if you don't fucking like it, get the fuck off my YouTube channel. Bye. I'm sick and tired of people, especially men, telling me what the fuck to do. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm sick and tired of it. Bye, Adam. You can't even comment on here no more. There's a lot of shit I used to not do, I do now. But hey, moving my hands ain't one of them. I've been moving my hands like this since I came out the womb. I was doing this before I could speak. I'm going to keep doing it no matter how many men or women tell me what to do. All right? Anybody else want to step up to the plate and try to tell me what the fuck to do on my goddamn motherfucking channel can see your way out. Bye. Because that's actually one of the topics that we're talking. That's why I want to talk about Medina first. Because I've been seeing a whole lot of stuff. Mostly appears to be men trying to tell me, imagine, what in the hell I need to be doing, how I need to be doing it. See that flag back there? I'm going to keep referencing it. It says I can say what I want. I can move my hands when I talk if I want, Adam. Bye. Now. No, my audio is not lower than usual, and I'm about to block the word audio from this chat. Y'all have abused your audio privileges. Now, I will remind you, Medina did ask us to look into other things. So I'm looking into her. And guess what? I don't have to go and subpoena Google for it. I don't have to go through her private stuff. I don't have to get into her private data from Google. No, I don't. This shit is public. I'm not going to need to ask Google for anything. And that goes for every character in this story. See, Medina wanted to get Ben's private information. Medina wanted to dig her grubby little hands like she was digging for a pig in the mud, like she was rooting around for some pigs in the mud, and lie to a judge to get a search warrant. All I'm trying to do is look at the public record of this public servant. And I think it's pretty important that we do so, because I'm trying to figure out how in the hell this crazy psychotic lunatic got to the position she's in today. I mean, can't keep down a husband. She ain't even 30 years old barely, and already been married twice, divorced once. But yet she wants to act so holier than thou about what everybody else is doing. Now, okay, well, the cousin Adam, that's fine. Not all, hashtag not all Adams. Okay. So, let's start here. And really the reason that I want to do this is primarily because if you don't tell your own story, they'll tell it for you. And if you don't defend yourself against lies, they'll put them in a federal court document and try to sue you over it. So I just want to remind us why we're all here. The police are corrupt. The Provo police are corrupt, at least some of them. The American Fork Police Department, the whole freaking thing is rotting, corrupt, tyrannical. They pulled guns out and pointed them at least one minor for no reason. Even the reason was a lie, stolen Legos. That was a lie. They knew Ben didn't have stolen Legos in there. It was just to scare them, which was admitted on camera. They unlawfully, completely over-redacted completely over redacted the body camera footage, and we're not going to release it to Ben. Okay, this is tyranny. This is absolute tyranny. They're the masters, we're the slaves. That's how they think of it. But that's not how it is supposed to work. And I am not going to sit here idly by and allow my rights and future children's rights, your future children, your children's rights, to be trampled upon, shat upon by the likes of anybody. But in particular, not a tyrannical government. No, ma'am, not me. No, ma'am, not me. You will recall, this is my full-time job. Holding tyranny accountable, corruption, holding that accountable. That's my full-time job. That's what I do. Now, you can imagine that comes with certain occupational hazards, I'm sure. So let's start here. I posted this, I think it was yesterday or the day before. That's Medina right there at her first wedding. Somehow couldn't make that marriage work. Medina, and she got the Jeffrey Epstein color palette in the back. That's nice, looking like the temple on Epstein Island. Medina Dore Gutierrez, now divorced from this guy. Public records of a corrupt public servant who knowingly lied to a judge in a search warrant affidavit and possibly caused the death of another victim who she failed to inform staff of his condition. Anyway, it'll be a good show Monday, full of public records and public interest matters about this corrupt public servant. Okay, and I don't know. I'm not even going to say, oh yeah, there were more pictures. Let me show y'all. These are public. Public. All public. That's her getting married. That's her. And I don't know, that she's not being a good, modest Mormon. Now, she might not be a Mormon yet at this point, but I have reason to believe the guy she's married to now is Mormon, because he had, like, you know, that on his LinkedIn, that he was, like, following the Church of Latter-day Saints and all that. But anyway, that's her right there. So I post that. Remember, she's the one that lied about Ben. She's the one that lied and said they had a probable cause for extortion in a search warrant. That wasn't true. It was a lie. She lied to a judge under criminal penalty. Now, I'll let you put yes or no if you actually think that this hag will ever be held accountable, actually. If she'll ever actually face any real consequence, like losing her job. Probably not. They'll probably honor her with Employee of the Month in the next year or so. Or getting a demotion, being transferred to another department, getting sued and losing. Probably not. It's probably never going to happen. And so where does that leave us, the slaves of this society? Where does that leave us? All we can do is try our very best to shed light on the grotesque and detestable and sometimes questionable or suspicious actions of these tyrants. And hopefully every now and again, maybe one of them might have to pay a real consequence. I guarantee you, she won't have her shit all gone through without notice or opportunity to be heard, because she's one of them. She's in the club. So there were a few people who, again, this is a public post. Again, this is not some, oh, I know somebody that's private and went and snuck in and took it. No, this is public. And we're going to go through, there's a whole segment on it. But before we get to it, I just want to remind y'all, because I think sometimes it's easy to just forget. She's the government. She's the government. I know I'm smarter than her and prettier than her and better than her in literally every conceivable way, but she has more power than me. She can get a search warrant through lies and get all the back end of all my shit, including my bank account. I could get retaliated against for this, and still she could have no consequence. She's the government. She's the government. I got a couple comments. Now, I'll give it good faith and say these are not bots, okay? These are not bots. They might be bots, all right? They might just be PR bots, you know, or whatever. But I want to go through these comments because I want to address them. And just so y'all know, I'm going to be moving my hands a lot. If you're like Adam and you don't like hands moving around, maybe close your eyes. You could close your eyes. You could go make your own goddamn mother YouTube video. Or you could otherwise leave me the hell alone. All right. So, here's one such comment. Somebody said, the internet is going way too personal into her life. Ryu Kiyomi says. She brought this upon herself, corrupt idiot. I said personal where? Personal where? Did I dig in her emails? Did I lie to a judge to get her emails? Because that's what she did to Ben. And it makes me wonder, who else has she done that to? Personal where? How are we digging into her personal life? This is public. I didn't get somebody to go in her back end. I didn't get somebody to hack her Facebook. I didn't get somebody to hack into her emails. I simply observed a public post and posted a picture of a public post publicly. I said it actually was Medina who went way too personal when she lied to a judge to obtain an unlawful search warrant for actually private information. Ryu Kiyomi said, yep, she dug her own grave. Now it's time to know actions have consequences. I said, yeah, and we don't have to do anything illegal. We don't have to do anything illegal. That's why I have that comment pinned. Do not target or send hate to anyone mentioned in this stream. I said, we don't have to do anything illegal or lie to a judge to get a search warrant on private Google information like she did to her victim, Ben Schneider. Okay, that wasn't the only post. And this is like a pretty friendly post, but I just wanted to make sure, you know, that by consequences, what was actually meant is just talking about public stuff publicly. A First Amendment right. When Medina Dore became a police officer, she took an oath to uphold, to honor, above everything else, the United States Constitution. Guess what the very First Amendment of the United States Constitution Bill of Rights is? Freedom of speech. The First Amendment protects the freedom of speech, opinion, criticism of a tyrannical government, which Medina Dore is. I'm just trying to remind y'all where we actually are here. This isn't drama between me and Medina Dore. She's a stranger to me. She's a terrifying lunatic. She's a liar and possibly a killer. She is the government. It's easy to forget, I think. It's easy to forget because I'm so smart and I'm so funny and I'm so articulate and I'm so beautiful, and she's so literally the opposite of all of those things. But she's the government. I am merely speaking about public information. Now, again, this could be a bot, and I'm not going to make a habit out of responding to every bot comment. But there was enough of this type of comment, and then I saw some activity of the sort on the Reddit that I just want to recalibrate what's actually going on here. This is the government. If she could do that to Ben, she could do it to you. She could do it to anybody, any innocent person who's just doing things they're allowed to do or not. It'll go to court. She lied. She lied to a judge under criminal penalty. There's evidence, there's proof she lied. She said to Ammon there's no evidence of extortion. And guess what else? They didn't find any because they never charged him with extortion. Never. In any jurisdiction. Or harassment, by the way. I just want to recalibrate. So when you see things like this and you start feeling bad for a tyrant, no ma'am. This is the last freaking thing that we even have. This is the reason that the First Amendment is the First Amendment. Because when tyrants and tyrannical governments, y'all like how I move my hands? I might start doing it even more because of Adam. Because when tyrants start locking us up for opinions without due process, without the opportunity to be heard, when tyrants start getting Google to courts to order Google not to tell us when our shit gets subpoenaed, what else do we have? They're never going to get held accountable in the criminal way. You know that. They're all in on it together. The only thing we have is telling each other publicly, bringing attention to it, and hoping that every now and again, maybe one or two of them gets held accountable. And I'm hoping that happens in this case. Do not contact or send hate to anybody mentioned in this video. I got another comment on that same post. All of this because I shared a public picture. I didn't even share all of them. Ugh, says the person. Seems a little extreme. Really? Does it? Posting a public picture of her public picture? I said as extreme as lying under criminal penalty, falsifying an unconstitutional and overly broad search warrant to obtain a citizen's personal and private Google data from Google and forcing Google not to let the victim/target know his rights were being violated? Is it as extreme as that? Put a 2 in the chat if it's definitely not. Put a 2 in the chat if Medina was way more extreme by lying under criminal penalty to a judge, falsifying an unconstitutional and overly broad search warrant to obtain a citizen's personal and private Google data from Google, and forcing Google not to let the target/victim know his rights were being violated. Put a 2 in the chat if that's more extreme than posting a public picture of a public picture. I'm seeing some 2s. I'm seeing some 2s. Someone else said, shout out to Forrest Bachelor. If you valued the Fourth Amendment and the Bill of Rights as much as any American should, then you would not think this is extreme at all. Now, again, I didn't say in the post, go contact Medina. I never would. I actually say all the time, don't contact Medina. But why is it that they can do all of this? That's not extreme. But when we simply say, hey, let's talk about what she's been getting into publicly, that's extreme. And then I save the best comment for last. I'm always being falsely accused. I'm always being falsely accused. And every now and again, I have to stop everything I'm doing to handle the allegations, because these bot campaigns and these hater campaigns will absolutely be shifting the public narrative. And now everyone's talking about drama between me and some tyrant instead of characterizing it appropriately as what it actually is. This buffoon. Again, this could be a bot. This could be Medina's husband for all I freaking know. Nothing wrong, they say, with calling her out for what you think are bad or even illegal actions. No shit. Thanks for stating the obvious. But I think this is just mean and harassing and not something Ben would approve of. First of all, Ben is not my daddy. And even if he was, even my daddy couldn't tell me what to do. Y'all see my mom in this chat all the time, trying to tell me what to do and not tell her to leave me alone. So what on earth do I supposed to give a flying rat's ass about what Ben would approve of? There's a lot of stuff Ben does I don't approve of. Who gives a shit? What's that have to do with anything? Ben wouldn't approve. Well, lucky for me, I don't give a flying rat's ass about what Ben would approve. Huh? I'm going to just read my comment. I'm going to just read my comment back to what I said. Again, this is what they said. Nothing wrong with calling her out. Like, what is this, the freaking morality? What are you fucking talking about, Dan R9183? Nothing wrong with calling. You are not my daddy. You're not the boss of me. What are you talking about? You get to decide what's wrong and right. Say it with your first and last name. Then we'll talk. Nothing wrong with calling her out for illegal activities. But I think this is just mean and harassing and not something Ben would approve of. Okay, I think I've pretty much addressed the not something Ben would approve of. But let me read my comment. I said, first of all, y'all have got to learn the definition of the word harassing. For the love of God, posting a public Facebook post of a public servant is not harassment. Stupid. I routinely implore people not to contact or send hate to anybody I cover in my videos. If somebody does harass, they should go to jail, but that ain't me and this ain't it. Second of all, this public servant lied to a judge in a search warrant affidavit under criminal penalty. This lie led to the unconstitutional violation of Ben Schneider, a citizen's rights against his will to the extent that he didn't even know about it. This unlawfully obtained information was by definition actually literally private, and the warrant was so overly broad that the government obtained Ben's emails, photos, entire Google Drive, IP logins, location data, all his unreleased YouTube videos, and probably so much more. He not only didn't have an option to oppose it or fight it, but he also didn't even know about it. Ben was actually literally bona fide, Ben's actual literal bona fide private information and data. She lied to obtain it. That is more like harassment than reposting a public post. Medina Dore is not a private citizen. She is a public servant paid by public money to perform a job for the public. The public entrusts her with not just enforcing the law, but following it, which she does not do. This is a public Facebook post that somebody made public on their public profile. It is not private. Furthermore, Medina all but asked us to look into something else other than the brick and the minifig when she said she thought Ben should be looking into other matters. I'm only following her suggestion. Finally, Benjamin Paul Schneider, aka Ben, is a stranger to me, to whom I have never spoken, so I wouldn't know what he would or wouldn't approve of. But let me make something abundantly clear. Ben ain't my daddy, and he damn sure ain't the boss of me. He has absolutely no authority or jurisdiction over what I do or do not say, do or do not say, or do or do not do. I do not need permission from him or you, Dan R9183, or frankly any damn body to post and discuss a public Facebook post on my YouTube channel investigating public corruption. If you don't like it, don't look. Medina Dore is a psychotic, oath-breaking liar who lies under criminal penalty. I posted a public post. Get your priorities together and get off my page. Okay? All right? Bye. Bye. Harassing. These people need to learn the definition of harassing. And we're going to get to some more little Reddit comments later. But just to set the stage, okay? This is what we're dealing with. It's not about giving them limelight. You love Alda Gabe Ona. I don't know if y'all know this or not. I've been sued falsely, fraudulently, by frauds. My opinion, that's what they are. It's in my opinion. Innocent until proven guilty. Schemers. I've been sued by them because they didn't want me to basically do what I'm doing now. Discuss the bullshit they were doing. So they sued me. They tried to silence me. They got these bullshit temporary restraining orders. Then I anti-slapped them. Now they owe me tens of thousands. So, I mean, this happens over and over. But one thing that they repeatedly did, over and over in those lawsuits, just so y'all know, is they would use screenshots like this. Her audience said that she was harassing. Her audience even tried to warn her. Her audience even da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So it's not really about giving them limelight, and it's not really that I personally give a flying rat's ass what they say. But before I'm going to let lies stand, and it's like a critical mass of them, I'm going to periodically check in just to say, number one, don't send any harassment, don't send any hate. That's not what I'm trying to do. If you will recall, I've never spoken to Medina. I've never spoken to Ben. I've never spoken to any of these people. I'm a concerned citizen, American, concerned about public corruption, concerned about the lies, the lengths to which these people seem to be willing to go to harm citizens who are not breaking any laws. And if they are breaking laws, it damn sure ain't the ones they trying to act like they break in extortion. Okay? So, it's going to be a good day. Yes, it is. Lil Stu. It doesn't matter if they're a sub or not, because when they put it at the end of a thing, I have reason to believe some of the, like, you know, the idiot that sued me the last time that keeps losing over and over and she's going to keep losing. I have reason to believe she caused comments to be typed up for the specific purpose of taking a screenshot of it and putting it as an exhibit. Now, is the person a subscriber? Is the person a follower? I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, because whether a person is a subscriber or a follower doesn't mean I know them. And it doesn't mean that they somehow had a different interaction with the video than someone who didn't subscribe. Although, click the subscribe button, please. It helps the channel out. Thank you. So it's not about giving attention. Okay. It's about setting the record straight. I've not harassed anybody. And I'm sick and tired of being falsely accused of it. Okay. Now, onward. Onward and upward. Let's start with the pig wrestling, shall we? Now, this video includes Medina Dore. After today's video, I wonder if it'll still be live in public. 149 subscribers. It has 85,000 views. This says, at the 2013 Utah County Fair, Team Magically Pigalicious came in second overall and first in the women's division. Their total time was 20 seconds. Okay, what is the pig wrestling? Lacey Curtis posted it. Now, this video is so grotesque and detestable, I'm actually apprehensive that it might break and violate the terms of service, so I'm not going to play it uncensored. I have censored the video. But we talked in a recent live show about this psychopathic lunatic that she did this pig wrestling. Now, this pig wrestling has been outlawed at the fair. At least this one. Maybe it's came back around, but in the past, since this, it was outlawed. So this is August 2013. At the 2013 Utah County Fair, Team Magically Pigalicious came in second overall and first place in the women's division. Their total time was 20 seconds, okay? So let me pull up the video that I painstakingly censored this morning. And actually, I feel a little bit sick to my stomach from having to watch it and hear that poor pig. Y'all are going to hear it. But this is an issue of public concern. And I have a theory that it was this exact type of activity that led Medina, the public servant, down the path to be so callous and have such little regard for other human beings. And you know how they say, like, serial killers always start with animals? You could tell, like, based on how they, you look, hindsight's 2020, you look back at these serial killers. I'm not saying she's a serial killer. I'm saying serial killers are very violent. They're violent and they want to kill people. And that violence you don't wake up as a serial killer. There's levels. There's levels to this. Medina Dore, all the way back 13 years ago, actually 14 years ago, because I got two videos today. We're going to look at 2012 next. All the way back in 2013, this lunatic was very strongly exhibiting a lack of caring for, a callous disregard. A callous disregard for the well-being of other creatures. I'll say that. Okay, and don't take my word for it. You don't have to. We're about to watch it together. Censored, the censored version. I censored it. Now, I didn't take any parts out, like I didn't clip any parts out, but I put a censor blur. She wanted us to look into something else. You would think you would have other things to look into. Yeah, you would. I have some things to look into. Okay. It's 2 minutes, 18 seconds long. I'll turn it down. It's like probably gonna, okay, I think this should be a good.
Let's give a big cheer, everybody! Magically Pigalicious!
Okay, I think that is, this is the highest resolution they had. So you see her right there? Did y'all see her? That's her kind of toward the front. That's her right there. They can say her name too. That's her. Getting ready, taking off. Look at the victim. You can do it, girl power, they said. It's like, okay, I'm going to talk over it because, I don't know, this might be like a copyrighted song or something. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, look at her. You see her getting all ready? That's her right there. She's holding on to the, she's doing her stance. Do you think this is how she was doing right before she went into that office to lie? It's interesting to me that she's doing all this violent stuff to this animal, and now she's talking like this. Yeah, you think, hi, my name's Medina, and I like to do pickleball, and I like to go to the place to play the pickleball, and I like to fly the drones, and I like to do videography. Like, you're not fooling anyone, you psychotic bitch. Fucking lunatic. I'm not fooled. Put a 3 in the chat if you're not fooled. And I like to play the pickleball. And then, yeah, the other girls were kind of hesitant. I mean, they should be. They should be. Like, listen, the thing that's got me with this is, like, I grew up in a culture where they, like, hunt animals. My dad did not hunt. We were not a hunting household. My dad always thought that was grotesque. He did not like it. He liked to go fast. He liked motorcycles and, you know, four-wheelers and go-karts and he liked to do that stuff. He wasn't a hunter. But I'm from a culture where they do that. I eat animals. I'm not a vegetarian, although I am trying to cut back. I do feel bad. Like, you know, something does feel bad about it. You know, I'm trying to cut back on my meat and stuff. But, like, I'm not like an animal rights activist. But this is so beyond the pale. Even I'm from Louisiana. We got Mardi Gras. They chase the chickens around. They chase the pigs around. And then they cook them and eat them in a gumbo. This is worse than that. It's so much more violent, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of other people in the chat from Louisiana. Y'all let me know. But it's kind of like you chase the pig, you catch it. You're not picking it up and slamming it in a bucket and then sending more people in to do the same thing to the same pig over and over. That seems a little bit excessive and different. Now, I never did the chasing the pig around Mardi Gras, just to be clear, and I never went to those Mardi Gras. Again, it wasn't in the microculture of my personal family. I wasn't doing that. But this is not hunting. This is abusing the pig and then sending it back over there, in my opinion. They use the same pig. Yeah. Yvette said, I grew up on a farm. I couldn't do this. Gratuitous. That's what it is. To me. And look, I'm not the decider. Obviously, hundreds of people obviously thought this was okay for years and years and years. But I was going to the Mardi Gras parades. I wasn't going to the Mardi Gras where they're chasing the pig around either. Just so we're clear. It's just, look at her rolling her sleeves up. Look at her. No wonder you could have said what she was going to be. If she would have took that aptitude test in the 8th grade, they would have said, tyrant. You can do it, girl power. Like, I'm getting hot in the face, and I've seen this. Look at her. She's ready. Look at that beast. Look at that beast. No hesitation. No hesitation. That'll give you insight into the psychology of this beast. The pig is terrified. Which one is the animal? I'm telling y'all, it's really evil. It's really evil. I try to tell y'all. But I'm extreme for sharing a picture of her first wedding. That's public. I'm extreme. I'm harassing. But she's been doing this to animals for 13 years ago. She was doing this. Watch how she has a killer instinct. Like she jumps out like a killer, like a murderer beast. She has no compassion for this animal at all whatsoever. People saying that this is just as bad as the Mardi Gras with the chickens. Could be. I never went to that Mardi Gras. I never went to the Mardi Gras where they did that. I didn't go there. My parents said that's mean. We're not doing that. We don't have to do that. We're not doing that. So I didn't do that. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that's not what we're looking at a video of. What we're looking at a video of is Medina Dore. And the reason that I brought up the Mardi Gras is to just say, I'm not some, wilting lily who doesn't understand how, animals is how we get our food a lot of times. I understand that. I understand, it's not a nice, world where everybody gets to be alive all the time and all the animals just need to live and no one, I'm not some vegan, I eat meat. I say that to say that's the set point where I'm starting. I'm not PETA. This is extreme, even for me. And I'm from like a culture where they do some pretty messed up stuff to animals. I don't do it, and I never have. I've never even seen one of those Mardi Gras in real life. I never went to them. So anybody in here saying it seems forced, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're projecting, buddy. Maybe get back to your job you need to be doing or something, Randy. Because I guarantee you, they not doing this to one chicken. And it's squealing and it's crying. Look at her laughing. It's so funny. The pig was just stuck in there screaming and crying to get out. And they're high-fiving and hugging. But I'm extreme for posting a picture of this beast's wedding. This is the government. She's the government. I want to remind y'all of that. She's the government. She lied and subpoenaed Google for somebody's private records at least once. She's the government, and this is how she treats animals. How you think she treats people in her custody? It's all starting to paint a much clearer picture. They left this poor pig. Look at them, arf, arf, high-fiving, hugging, slapping each other on the butt. What the fuck? Look at this poor creature. And then they just dump it out.
20.92
Look at her. Look at her. She's proud. Look at her. High-fiving. Yay! We did it! Yay! Yay! Watch her do her little dance. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. That's her. Here she comes. Look at her. Giving tips. Giving tips. I think I recall somebody saying Sheldon walked away looking pleased with himself after talking to the guy in the smoke shop about what he was researching. But if you ask me, Medina Dore should have turned that camera or that investigation back on her damn self, because I never saw anybody looking more pleased walking away from something. She walked away looking pleased with herself, you ask me. And she was like the main one. The main one. She ran out there first. She was giving tips to the next people. What an accomplishment. 4 people can put a scared animal in a metal can. Well, guess what? She couldn't even do it the year before. And I found this one. Her teammate posted. No, not that one. Hold on. From the year before. Now, look at how different just 1 year. Look at the difference a year can make. So that was last year. That was 2013. I also found her teammate had posted this one. Also censored. Also censored. This is the year before. Let me show y'all actually where I got this from so y'all aren't thinking I'm just making it up. And why am I showing y'all this? Is it to harass her? Is it to embarrass her? No. It's to show you what I believe is a progression of this public servant of doing grotesque and detestable activities for years. Instead of making the right choices, she's made cruel choices. Instead of making the difficult choices, she's made the easy choices. She hasn't been a good person for a long time. And instead of correcting that, anybody can make mistakes and anybody can correct their life. I truly believe that. But it doesn't appear as though she has. She's a liar. She's an animal abuser. Look like she's a harlot, if you ask me. So let me pull up where I got this video from. But again, we're going to watch a censored version of it. Pigalicious, Rachel Chan Raleigh. Raleigh, I guess. She's one of the sisters that's on the team. Now, this year, they at least dressed in better outfits. This is the year before the one we just watched. Pig wrestling at the Utah County Fair. Pig 10, us -5. No comments. I'm going to dislike it. So this one is 1 minute 45 seconds long. Now, on this one, it's blurrier, and it's a little more difficult to tell who's who. But I wanted to show y'all, and it has 1,800 views. I doubt it'll be up for long. I doubt it'll be up for long. She's been rewarded, Adam, exactly. Adam, is it Kasim or Kasim? Been rewarded for her tyrannical behavior with a position at the police department and employee of the month in February 2025, or 2025. Last year, February, she got employee of the month. I know, the tutus are diabolical. I love a tutu, moment. So let me pull up the video. And don't worry, y'all. This is the last video of the pig incident, all right? I don't like watching it either. Like I said, I'm still kind of sick to my stomach from watching it earlier. We have 493 likes and 1,500 people in here. Is this the corporate meeting of the Bricks and the Minifig? Is this the Brick and the Minifig corporate meeting in here? Y'all can't like the video? Just kidding. I know some of them got to be in here. All right, so here's the video. All right, I'm going to turn it to like half. So again, I'm not exactly sure. This is the highest resolution that it is. But based on the body language, this one looks like a good candidate of how she's standing in that same spot, in that same stance. But it could be one of these two. It's hard to tell because it's blurry. But I'm thinking it could either be this one right here, this one, or this one right here. I don't know which one's which.
They won't even get it in the barrel.
Somebody said they won't even get it in the barrel. Oh, foreshadowing. They said the first female of the event. Look, I don't really like a gender role, okay? I really don't. I don't like a gender role, but I've been like, a woman and a girl my whole life. At a certain age, this stuff stops to be fun, okay? Like, yeah, I can understand, like, you're trying to impress the boys and trying to hunt and you're trying to pig wrestle and stuff, but like, I don't know, something biological seems off here if they're doing this year after year after year for fun.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Look at the pig, poor thing. He's just rooting around in the mud. Here these things come. Oh my God, I forgot. They can't even walk. Okay, wait, hold on. It's actually kind of hilarious. Watch them all bust their ass before they even make it to the pig. The Lord said, shoop. Mormon Jesus got up under their feet and tripped them.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Look. All of them. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, then it stops being funny.
Oh! Block it, block it!
maybe that's her. Maybe it's this beast. Honestly, if I was forced to do this, I'm her. I'm over there at the other side of the thing just falling. Okay, y'all let me know if y'all do it or not. Like, she ain't even trying. She ain't even trying. Maybe she's going to start trying, but that would be me. I'll be on the other side of the cage like, yeah, okay, let me know when y'all are done. Ooh, I can't make it. Oh, I guess she got possessed with the demon now too. Listen to the thing screaming. It's just like, honestly, like whoever said I'm extreme and not this person, they should sign up for the very next open mic comedy special, stand-up comedy that they can do. Because that is the funniest thing I've heard all day. I'm extreme for looking into this lunatic? Oh, girl, please. 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 I'm extreme. I'm extreme. Now they play in the larger than life. I can't. This feels like a group MK Ultra initiation. I think it's this one. I think it's her.
Good job, good job.
So then they failed to do the thing.
All right, audience, give him a hand for trying.
Boo. Give him a boo for trying. Boo. Okay, so that was the first year. And then the next year, I'm not going to play the tape again, was the green outfits, where they did it in 20 seconds. Just put that poor pig right there. So if that's the one progression from 2012 to 2013, just think about how aggressive, hostile, violent, and deranged this woman must be today. And it's scary because she's got that little voice. I like to pick a ball. I like to pick a ball with the. Let's take a look at that. Let's do a palate cleanse and see how Medina ended up this year. Let's just pick a ball, and my husband likes to do the and the Springfield and the. Your little baby voice ain't fooling me, bitch. It ain't fooling me.
Hey guys, I'm Medina Dore. It's my 4th semester in the MPA program. I originally grew up in Springville, Utah, and my husband and I, we still live in southern Utah County. Things that I like to do, I like to keep busy, so I love playing pickleball.
I like to abuse animals by slamming them into a metal barrel at the state fair, and I like to high five my friends after I abuse the pig.
I love photography. Right now my current top priority hobby is I like to fly drones, so I do a little bit of videography on the side. Currently I work for Provo PD. I'm assigned to the Criminal Investigations Division, and I'm taking this class just because of everything that's going on right now with the political climate.
I wonder if she used the same audio engineer as the American Fork Police.
With the political climax and just things happening abroad. I'm hoping just to expand my knowledge when it comes to homeland security. So
now she wants to go and be violent toward people, I fear. I think she's trying out for the feds.
it's nice to meet you guys. I enjoyed watching your videos, so I'm excited to see your thoughts and look forward to this class.
God Strike said, this is a terrible dating profile. Okay, who's really extreme here? Thanks so much to Rose Investigates for the $2 super chat. You look cute this morning. Oh, you're so cute. Thank you. Thank you. Some ordinary. Oh my God, change his name. I hate saying Gooner. Thank the $4.99. Ew. Break by break. Thanks so much to Stamp of Approval. What about Matt McNeff? That scumbag needs a review. He's on the list. I just haven't gone to him. Thank you for the $2. Thank you to Nailhead. What I will say about Matt McNeff, though, people seem to like him. Like, people will like the people that have said anything about him publicly are like, Ammon's really the one that people don't like. Matt, people like him. But a lot of times that is the one that ends up being like the real maniacal mastermind. Thank you for the $5, Nailhead. Did I see Steven Song's video about the terrorism? eBay. No. I didn't see that video. I'm going to check that out. Thank you for the $5. Thanks so much to Els the Elder for the £2 super chat. Love from I think that's UK girl. You're doing amazingly. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to the UK cousins. Shout out to the English cousins. I realized the other day, like, nobody ever really says England. Like, everybody just says, like, UK. Sometimes they'll be like Great Britain. I truly think it's because in the American education system, at least the one I got, girl, they didn't really, like, spend a lot of time telling us what's the difference between all that over there. But people say like Great Britain and people say UK, but like shout out to England specifically. I mean, definitely not them inbreds y'all got living in the castle or whatever. No, not them. Ew. I'm not an observer of any royals other than this channel. I'm the queen. It's a monarchy and nobody gets a say. This is not democracy. Okay. Other than that, but yes, shout out to the UK cousins and the England cousins in particular. Nobody gives y'all any attention. Okay. Thank you so much to B More for the $3 super chat. A little bit for the legal fund. Thank you. Doing great work. Thank you so much. Thank you, Big Crunch. I love when cousin comes in with the divine feminine energy. I mean, thank you for the $1.99. I am in just like, sometimes it really just, it strikes me how unfair and unjust this world we live in and this society we live in is. It's like this bitch has been harming and abusing animals, lying to judges, getting married, getting divorced. Look, my parents got divorced. My mom been married and divorced. I'm not judging like that. Look, if your man ain't doing right, divorce him too, girl. That's not the issue. The issue is these people come from like a purity culture and they try to act like they're better than everybody else and they're just not. They drink, they smoke, they, meaning the ones, that act like that. Obviously, they got Mormons out here for sure. Ain't never drank, ain't never smoked, and probably really nice ones and good ones, okay? For sure. But like, they act like, have you had anything to drink? Have you had anything to eat? Why are you driving around? We do things differently here. It's like, oh my God, shut up. This is a liar, an animal abuser, and possibly a killer. And I'm extreme for posting a public picture. It's just aggravating. Thank you so much. I said this last time. Big Crunch. Thank you so much for the $1.99. She went from wrestling them to joining them. There it is. There it is. Megalicious said, oh no, I need to sue. Thank you for the $5. Do you know any good defamation lawyers? You need a copyright. You need a copyright lawyer. I feel like my name was targeted for Pigalicious. Ugh, it's not funny. Like, it actually makes my face hot. It's like very nasty what they did with them animals. Pig on pig crime, indeed. Indeed. Thank you for the $4.99. Thanks so much to some ordinary gooners. A $4.99. Thank you for the $4.99. You can do it. Girl power. That was crazy. That was crazy. Is the pig's name Ben Schneider? No, I don't think so. Thank you for the $2 Australian. New pig tracker on BAM map? No way. There's a pig tracker? You better not be pulling my leg. I don't see it. Okay, wait, hold on. On the watch reconstruction, donate, watch the body cam. Tactical map. Oh, that's cool. I have to look into this more. I'm just seeing it for the first time, and I probably need time to kind of look at it. But look at this. It tells you like the movements of those cops. Richardson, Tonga. This is American Fork. This isn't Provo. Just to remind y'all, what's her name? Medina is Provo police. Provo police. And the Provo police, and I like to do drones and the political climax. And I like to do the videos too. And I like to lie to the judge too. Thank you so much to Bling Auntie for the $2. Pig wrestling unironically. Oh, ironically. Is this Exhibit A and Utah cops doing things differently here? Thank you, Big Crunch, for the $4.99. I don't know. It made me feel sick. Thanks so much to Danny for the $10 super chat. Love all you do, LLC. Thank you, LLC, for the $10 super chat, LLC. Thank you, Justice, for the $2 super chat. I love ham like crazy, but this almost made me cry. It's something about it is just cruel. I don't know. You know, I mean, I've been to rodeos all my life too. I'll let y'all know my uncle, he was at the Angola prison, which is like probably the most maximum security prison in the South. Definitely in Louisiana. And they have a rodeo and it is very inhumane. But as a kid, I didn't like, you know, that was just what I was going to or whatever. And my uncle was in it, so I'd go. And he was in prison for killing somebody, so don't, you know, mess with him or whatever. But I think he's changed. I think he's changed now or whatever. But he's out now, and I asked him, I said, Uncle, you know, so-and-so, I'm not going to say his name, but I'm like, Uncle so-and-so. I asked him a couple of years ago at like a family reunion. I was like, what do you think about that rodeo? You know, because I was like, I was not sure what he was going to say. He had been in the rodeo, the prisoner rodeo. As a prisoner, he was in the rodeo. And he was like, it was crazy and cruel, and they shouldn't have had us doing that. And he's like the type that's like, you know, not sensitive and stuff. And he was doing it then. I was like, well, then why did you do it? He was like, because you could win money. I was like, did they make you do it? He said, no. But like, it was crazy and cruel, and I got hurt and I'm like traumatized. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. But yeah, they had me at the rodeo and stuff, at the Angola rodeo with the prisoners. I think they call it the inmate rodeo. I don't know if they still do it or not. It was a long time ago. Thanks so much to GRB Chaser for the $5 super chat. The activity is the total opposite of de-escalation, and those types of people seek that behavior out. It seems like it to me. Oh, we talked about this, Rose. I already pulled them up. Her judging the pigs with the little girl. Already talked about that in the last one. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm not trying to spend too much more time on these pigs. It's making me feel sick. Thank you to you, Love, for the $10 Canadian. A moment of silence for those pigs that were abused by Skunky Mold Medina, please. Seriously. Okay, so I do have some good news, if you could call it that, out of this whole thing. If you were disturbed, okay, if you're disturbed by this censored public video of public concern of a now public servant acting with callous disregard for the health, welfare, and safety of an animal, so am I, and we are not alone, okay? We are not alone. We are not the only people that bothered. Look at this article from just a few years later. No, I want to decline. No, off. This is from 2015, okay? So those two videos, one was from 2012, one was from 2013, and look at this article from 2015. Protesters pursuing charges against pig wrestlers who physically forced them from the ring at the county fair. Okay, let me pull this one up. I actually want to do this one first. Pig wrestlers, so this is from also 2015, August. Pig wrestlers and protesters get into mud-slinging match at the Utah County Fair. Now, I'm not going to play this video because it also is, you know, a little bit violent, like they're fighting each other. But y'all can go and check out this article on your own if you are interested in seeing more violence. I'm done. Pig wrestlers and protesters get into mud-slinging match at Utah County Fair. Okay, so I'm going to do the reader view. Utah County, a group of pig wrestlers and protesters got into a mud-slinging match in a pig pen at the Utah County Fair Wednesday. This is from 2015, about 11 years ago. A small group of activists disguised themselves as wrestlers to get into the ring and then revealed their real goal: to speak out against the event because they say it's animal cruelty. One protester said the Utah County Fair is profiting on the exploitation of animals in a cruel manner. So is Utah County. However, others say the event isn't cause for concern, and they feel that there's worse things the group could protest when it comes to animals. Wow. Medina, Lucas, Dore, Jorgensen, Gutierrez learned her reasoning from the pig wrestlers at the county fair. When somebody is lodging an appropriate criticism toward you, all you have to do is say, focus on something else. That's what they do at the pig wrestling events, and that's what Medina Dore does 11 years later to this very day. There's worse things this group could protest. They should spend their time on other things. She's bathed in the water, or should I say mud. Pig wrestling has been common at the fair for a number of years, and this is at least the second year protesters have shown up to express their displeasure with the activity. Some of the protesters tell Fox 13 News they intend to pursue charges against those who pushed them from the ring. So let's read. Look at the still shot. This one's the protester. He wanted to use his pig wrestling minute, to speak about how it was cruel. Dressed as a clown, all roads leads to clowns. And look at him getting dumped out. Look, this is, if you could do it to a pig, you could do it to a person. I ain't talking about hunting for food. I'm talking about gratuitous violence. Pig wrestling match turned into a scuffle between animal activists and the wrestlers at the Utah County Fair Wednesday night. This is August 2015. And on Thursday, those activists are looking to file charges against a team of wrestlers who they said violently pushed, it looked like threw them out of the ring. The activists, the protesters, said what was meant to be a peaceful protest turned violent, all because they say they were trying to protect pigs from being beaten, demonized, and brutalized. We're here to stop violence, and we get violence in return? Yes, this is what these people do over there. The tyrants in Utah County, this is what they do. When you try to shed light on something, they turn it back on you. They pretend you're the one doing it. They lie. They make up lies. They call you an extremist. Meanwhile, this is what they doing. It's crazy. Dressed as clowns, 4 animal activists with the group Direct Action Everywhere entered the pig ring, but instead of wrestling the pigs, the 4 men held up signs defending the animals. Of course, we got the reaction I expected, said Benjamin Peters, who was among those who protested. I expected people to throw mud, boo, but what I didn't expect was what happened afterward. When they wouldn't leave the ring, the activists said a competing team began attacking them, and spectators captured video of the moment. He wanted to floor me. He wanted to put me on the ground as hard as he wanted to treat them just like they do with them pigs. He had trained for the pigs, and he wanted to do it to the protesters. Shortly after I got pushed, I looked over to my left, and I saw my brother tossed, body slammed to the floor. He grabbed my legs and flipped me over the fence. Then I hit my neck and slammed my back on the floor. All 4 of the protesters said they feel the actions of those wrestlers was uncalled for, but the fair says the protesters broke the rules. The fair's obviously in on it. That's their event. They're like, oh yeah, well the protesters just shouldn't have protested, because they stayed in the ring for longer than the 60 seconds they were allowed. When their time ran out, they refused to leave. So one of the teams went in and helped them out, said the Utah County Fair Director Mike Stansfield. I got somebody for Ben to investigate if he's getting tired of investigating them bricking the minifigs. And this is exactly the type of thing Medina Dore must have meant. She was like, oh girl, the bricking the minifig is the least of our concerns over here in this county. You ought to see what they doing to the animals at the fair. Look, I'm getting it in my own comments, y'all. Boo2 Spike said, I already told y'all this is a monarchy. This is not a democracy. This is not a republic. You don't get a vote and you don't have a voice. Okay? I'm going to be upset about what I want to be upset about, and you're going to see yourself out if you don't like it, and that's the rules. But look, they're doing it to me right here. Since I have a problem with pig wrestling, then also I'm getting a job assignment from Boo2 Spike. I have a job. Now I have to, hold on, let me take out my notebook for Daddy Boo2 Spike to write down my new job assignment real quick. Hold on, because I have a problem with one video and I want to use my time and my voice on my channel to talk about an issue that I find important about a public servant. Now, Mike B2 Spike has a job assignment for me. Is he going to be paying me my hourly rate of $3,333.33 an hour? Probably not. It's just a man coming on my channel to tell me what the fuck to do again. Everybody shun Mike. Everybody shun Mike. Throw tomatoes at Mike, everybody. Spike. Because since I have a problem with this and I'm spending my time, which logically, temporally, like the fact that we are 3-dimensional beings, we can really only spend our time doing about one thing at once. But instead of sitting there and spectating and maybe giving a super chat and maybe giving a subscribe, Boo2 Spike has now instead given me a job assignment on my channel. Instead of going make a video on his own channel, instead of going to do his own job, he says, because I have a problem with the pig wrestling video. I need to post videos of every carnival, fair, and circus where they have an animal competition. All because I have a problem with one. Now I have to spend the rest of my life, forever and eternity, only focusing on carnivals and fairs, even though that has jack shit to do with anything I'm talking about. It doesn't connect in with police misconduct. I've already said I'm not an animal rights activist. That's not how I've decided to spend my time in life. Boo2 Spike want to let me know. Yeah, I am irritated at y'all in the comments because I need y'all to know this is not your community. This is my channel. And I think that there's like a lot of creators out there that are like placating to stupid idiots. And I'm sick of it. Like, I just need to let it be very extremely known. This is my channel where I talk about what I want to talk about. And yes, I'm a human being. I get irritated at people, especially stupid people. I am irritated. So, yeah, that happens sometimes. And because I'm a woman, it happens more times. In some parts of the month, it's even more irritated. And in some parts, it's less irritated. Welcome to listening to women. I think some of these people might be Mormons and they're used to just telling their women to shut the fuck up. And then the women have to do it. I think these people are not used to dealing with women. Truly. I really do. I am irritated at y'all in the comments. Some people like it. Some people like when I get irritated at y'all because it it allows them to remember that they're allowed to stand up for themselves. You don't get to assign me a job assignment. This is a monarchy. You are the subjects. This is not a community. This is not your community. This is my channel, and you are a guest, and you will act accordingly. And if that is a problem, you can see yourself out and never come back because I won't know and I won't notice. Thank you. Thank you. So back to this article. But the protesters said staying in the ring longer should not make them a target of an attack. Yeah, I mean, I would need to see the full video again. I mean, it was just like I already seen so much squealing. I didn't want to watch that video over again, but it was pretty violent what happened. I don't know how us standing there an extra 10 seconds to get notoriety to no more violence to animals allows somebody to pick somebody up and slam them. The fair director agrees. It could and should have handled things differently. Obviously, that's not the ideal way to handle it. I don't think the kids who were involved with it really gave it much thought. So you can call them kids, you can call them violent criminals. You know, the fair director doesn't really see a difference. They just thought it's my turn and I ought to be able to get in and participate. So they like violence over there at the fair. Utah County Sheriff's Office is investigating the incident. Utah County says they have no plans to cancel the pig wrestling event in the future, and activists said as long as the event continues, they'll be there protesting. Well, guess what? It was canceled the next year, and I don't think it's come back. I don't think it's come back. Yep, period. So, Freak, you're so right. And we're going to look at the Reddit in a little while. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the $25 super chat and for all your support on the channel. Sewed Freak, cousin, you're doing great. Definitely some type of campaign or PR is trying to control the narrative. If the president can be commented on, then a public servant who did her job incorrectly can also be spoken on. Period. And nobody's going to make me feel bad about it. I already been there and done that with Lima Yevremovich, Dalia Takali, who else did I have? Lou Taylor, Desiree Perez. I'm impervious to that. If anybody should be feeling sympathy for anybody, it should be Medina Dore feeling sympathy for her victims. But she don't, so why I'm supposed to feel sympathy? I don't. I do have a little slight tinge of sympathy because it must have been something pretty grotesque and detestable had happened to her in her life to make her, by the time she's, you know, how old was I? She's about 5 years younger than me. So she was probably like 16 years old in those videos doing that to that pig. So whatever happened leading up to that, maybe I feel sorry for her because she must have been a kid or whatever. But other than that, thank you for the $25. Thank you, Jow, for the $5 R. Hi, did I see the leaked email Les got? Apparently the woman that redacts the body cams, Jamie Stowers, is the wife of one of the sergeants. I did see something about that. I'm not going to cover it today on today's show, but I may circle back around to cover that at a later date. But yeah, shout out to Les for or his team rather, for getting that email. Thank you, Nick Woods, becoming a new member, and thank you to Shamble becoming a new member. Thank you so much to Modest Man for the $4.99. I just found your channel. I love what you have found about Provo PD. I live in Salt Lake. Keep slaying, sending good vibes. Thank you. Thank you, Modest Man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Norma, if you're a public servant, you're accountable to the public. Don't like it, get a new job. Period. Period. I feel sorry for the scared pigs too. Me too. Talk about foreshadowing. Talk about foreshadowing. Medina being a dirty pig, I mean cop. Oh man. I love when people say there could be worse things. You mean, you know, this is bad, but you're saying there could be worse. It's like a self-admission. Yeah, right. You know it's bad, but you're just like, the only thing you can say is, oh, you focus on something else. You think that there'll be something else? You think there'll be something else, Ben, we could focus on? Yeah, it's like the sunk cost fallacy. Okay, well, I'm going to focus on something else then. Huh. Bet you wish I was talking about the brick and the minifig, huh, Medina? I bet Medina. Put a 5 in the chat if Medina wishes I was still talking about the brick and the minifig. Martin said, oh wait, Mad Martigan said, this is my favorite monarchy. Bender, yeah, I went to Louisiana public schools. So, did you go there? Did you go to Port Allen High School? Because if you didn't, you don't know what the fuck I learned. Again, another man in here trying to tell me what to do. Another man in here trying to tell me what to do on my own channel. I'm sure somebody in Louisiana public high school learned that, but if they taught that to me, I don't know, I was probably dodging like some fucking, it was like very much the school to prison pipeline, okay? They didn't even teach us about evolution at my school. We skipped that chapter. Yeah. Imagine me in college biology trying to figure out what is a mutation. What is a genetic mutation? In college, I'm trying to figure it out on my own because they didn't teach me that in high school. Yeah. And somehow still I made it to the Ivy League law school, so that's just a showing of my intellect. Anyway, okay. So people started protesting. I think it went away for good. But in one of those articles I just read, there were papers, they referenced papers being sent to the county attorney. And it was the protesters. The protesters. No, I didn't go into GATE. We had the GATE program, but the school that I started at was not in the public school system. So by the time when they were like recruiting for GATE, I was not a prime candidate because I did not go to a school that had GATE at the time. By the time I was at the public schools when we were learning that stuff, look, Vince said, I went to Louisiana public school. I can confirm. You see the haters in here today? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Calvin, thank you so much. Thank you to my Uncle Calvin right there. I could see your picture with your cowboy hat and your beard. That's my uncle right there. Ma'am, this is what you should do on your show. Exactly what you've been doing. Thank you. Bam, crisis managing is sending haters to the chat. Yup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're going, Aaron said, did you already go over her terrifying past? I just got here. Well, the most terrifying part, yeah, we already went over it. And you can rewind. I'm not going to pull those videos up again. Those made me feel kind of like, they raised my body temperature, made me feel sick, and made me feel very concerned that I don't know what else to call her, but just like a demonic beast. Demonic beast was wrestling the pigs in the mud. It was very sick. It was very grotesque. And a lot of people had to leave the chat and come back after. I just want to let you know I have my Mandalorian here and my baby Grogu. Okay. I have my Mandalorian and my baby Grogu. This is my first Lego set I ever built. Okay. And they are protecting the chat. They are protecting the chat. I do love Louisiana. I do. I love Louisiana. I have a lot to say about it, but that's my people and that's where I come from. I had my son in Louisiana for a few months and had to move out of the state. They were getting lawsuits in the parish and I was not subjecting my son or myself to any more stress. They, you know, it's pretty crazy. Oh, man. Thanks so much to Ken Adams and TMY for the $4.99. Have you seen the Google reviews for the police departments. Provo Police Department is getting review bombed. And American Fork turned off their Google reviews because they're crybabies. Well, there you go. And look, if you don't have, like, actually something to review, I do think, I personally wouldn't go review bomb anybody. But, like, if you want to file a complaint with the actual Provo Police Department where they have to, like, actually make them available to any higher investigative authority that might look into it eventually, I would highly encourage people to do that. Obviously, do not contact anybody or send any hate to anybody that I mentioned in this video personally. But the public servants, you can make actual police reports. Thank you to Katarina for being a member for 1 month. I was homeschooled, so I missed a lot of mainstream things. It happens like that with the homeschooling sometimes. Some of this stuff probably you didn't even need to know, girl, but some of it maybe you should have. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know anymore. If/when I have kids, I don't know. It's hard to figure out. It's hard to figure out what to do with these kids because you don't want to keep them out of the you don't want to keep them out of society entirely, right? But you also don't want to send them in to get their frontal lobe fluorided by gate or whatever. Thank you to Lala Julia, or Leia Julia, for being a member for 1 month. You are a pro at managing these malicious attacks. See? They calling me extremist, but am I the one that's wrestling a pig into the barrel while it screeches and screams? No, that's not me. Am I the one lying to a judge to get an unlawful overbroad search warrant? Nope, that's not me. Am I the one lying in court documents? No, that's not me. But I'm still getting called a harasser and an extremist. I literally tell y'all every single day, don't contact or send hate to anybody mentioned in this video. It's like they really just don't want us to be able to speak. It's really like, you just can't speak. You can't speak about public servants. You can't speak about what they do in publicly without being called a harasser. Just wait till y'all see this gaslighting that I was subjected to and victimized by yesterday in the Reddit. I mean, I do know now. I have learned now, but thank you for the £5 super chat, Els the Elder. UK is made up of England, Wales, and Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And shout out to Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland. Shout out Ireland, and shout out to all the Ireland. Although both Wales and Scotland have their own devoted parliaments. Thank you, thank you. I like the Irish people that go to meet the Queen and they put their hand in their pocket. If I ever meet the Queen, I'm putting my hand in my pocket for my little percentage of Irish ancestry. If I'm ever forced to meet the so-called Queen, I'm going to try to get out of it. I'm going to decline. But if I'm ever forced, I'm putting my hands in my pockets in solidarity with the Irish. That's my cousins over there, and Wales too. Thank you for the £5 super chat as well. Yeah, these BAM infiltrators don't know that my first boss fight was Lou M. Taylor, the most powerful business manager in all of Hollywood. So have a seat, boys. Oh, wow. Did they really salt and exile? Hold on. Animal cruelty law. Utah? Not Medina Dore being one of the reasons behind. Wait, is it really from 2025? (2006). It looks like it was passed in 2006. It says Utah is the worst state for animal protection. So it's kind of inconclusive, salt and exile. Classify animal abuse from misdemeanors to third-degree felonies. Neglect or abandonment is a misdemeanor. Intentional torture, poisoning, or killing a companion animal without legal privilege is a third-degree felony punishable by prison. Recent legislation such as Dexter's Law has even established a statewide animal abuser database. Ooh, put Medina on there. Cruelty, neglect, intentionally or recklessly failing to provide food, torture, deliberate torture of a domestic dog or cat. Animal fighting. Oh, wow. Organizing, attending, or betting on a dog or game fowl fights. Okay, this isn't pig wrestling. So I would need... Wow, this is actually unfathomable to me. No, you cannot see my ID. Thank you for the $5 super chat. She said, I didn't know what God or religion was until junior high. People looked at me like an alien when I asked what praying was. That is unimaginable. Because I grew up in like a, you know, not a religious, it wasn't like religious, but like, you know, we went to church and stuff. Like it was just my grandparents were religious. My parents grew up religious. So like, it's like, was such an early part of my life. I can't even imagine not knowing what God, like not being told. Also, what I was told God is not what God is, by the way, too. But that's a different story. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Justice for Tattle. Okay. So in one of those articles, there was mention of papers that the protesters had sent to the county attorney, the Utah county attorney, on pig wrestling violating Utah's animal cruelty laws. And the protester group filed this with the county attorney. And if somebody, you know, one of my little FOIA fairies, if you want to be in the FOIA fairies, wants to FOIA request the papers that the animal rights group sent to the city, to the county, the Utah county attorney about the pig wrestling back in 2015, I'll be happy to read those on air. The reason I don't request too much FOIA stuff anymore is because I've realized that they discriminate against me when they see my name, and then when I put an anonymous name, they force me to give my real name anyway, or my email address, and they won't fulfill the FOIA request unless I give it, which is unlawful. But then I'm just kind of in a catch-22. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not gonna sue for every paper they don't give me. Like, I'll be suing all the time. Okay, moving on. So the pig wrestling, I think, is over. This is Medina's wedding. This is a public post. You see this globe right here? You see how... Wait. You see that? Public. You see what it says public right there? Public right there. A public post. Did I subpoena Google for this? Nope. No, I did not. Did I lie to a judge to get a subpoena? No, I did not. So here she is, Medina. There's Medina. Caleb Perkins posted this October 15th. That's her wedding dress. Girl. I like to pick up ball. I like to and climax. She didn't take the hair tie off her wrist before getting married, girl. Oh my God. Look at the flower girls and the maids of honor, and then whoever this beast is. Oh my God. These people do not have any business getting married. They look very young, and clearly it didn't work out. She got a hair tie. Her wedding jewelry is a ponytail holder. Okay, I'm concerned. This is 1 year after the pig wrestling was eliminated. So, I mean, all I can guess is maybe they pig wrestled at the party afterward. Oh, I need to save that picture for the next thumbnail, girl. That's her. That must be Mr. Gutierrez. Somebody said I should interview him. No. I have no desire to interview him or talk to any of these people. Please don't contact or send hate to anybody mentioned here. Yep, that's her. There's Medina's lavish wedding she had. Very interesting. So there's that. They're already divorced. She's already got remarried. She's showing her shoulders, they say, and she's not a Mormon, but her husband now, he has like Mormon stuff all over his LinkedIn or whatever. So, or his Facebook. I think it was LinkedIn. So I think she's now married to a Mormon. Did she get married in a barn? Yeah, next to the pigs that she wanted to abuse, I guess. Was that kissing or wrestling? I don't know, girl. Okay, so what else? All right, so there was her wedding. What else about her? Oh, the band map did this voice analysis. So remember when I think it was the last episode, we talked about this Provo Police Department voicemail. When you call the Provo Police Department, apparently, as of last week, I don't know if it's still like this, when you call the non-emergency line to, make a report or whatever, there's a voicemail. And it basically says, The brick and the minifig is an ongoing investigation. We can't release anything about that. If you want to file complaints, send them to whatever.com or whatever. Let me just let y'all listen to it again, because some of y'all might not have been in here. Reed Brimhall, Adam Brimhall. I always forget this Redditor's name, but it was Awkward Begets Awkward. He or she is the one who made this available. So I don't know if I actually have the volume. Let me put the volume on. 1 second. Okay.
If you are calling in reference to the bricks and minifigs issue, until this matter has been adjudicated, we are unable to discuss an active case. You can register your complaint by going to provo.gov/police feedback. Thank you. For all other concerns, please remain on the line.
So they're discriminating concerns, girl. If you're concerned about that police corruption, we don't want to talk to you. Everything else, we'll talk to you.
If you are calling in reference to the bricks and minifigs issue, until this matter has been adjudicated, we are unable to discuss an active case. You can register your complaint by going to provo.gov/police feedback. Thank you.
So when you go to provo.gov/police feedback, look what comes up, girl. Look at what they think about our ability to file a complaint. Provo.gov/ Oh, I did the wrong thing. Okay, hold up. I misspelled. Hold on. I said Proval. Hold on. Maybe it will work. Oh, it worked. It was not working. Okay, girl, now it works. Provo.gov/police feedback. Provo.gov/police feedback. Now, not only does Provo, Utah, and Utah County, but in particular Provo, Utah, have a apparently animal abuse problem. Certainly at the fair they do. But they seem to have a child abuse problem as well. You might have remembered, you might not have been around when I was covering this on my other channel, my documentary channel, BJ Investigates. I've covered Provo Canyon, the child labor school, the child prison camp school. And I'm starting to develop a theory that people around Provo use the school as a boogeyman. If you're not good, I'm going to send you to the Provo. If you're not good, you're going to Provo Canyon, school for girls. If you're not good, you're going to go do, manual labor in the hot sun. Someone died at Provo Canyon, by the way, I believe. Hold on, let me make sure. It was one of those schools. That was the one that Paris Hilton went to. Yeah, it happened. Someone died there. Washington student at so-called world-class Utah boarding school died of sepsis after her complaints were ignored. A 17-year-old at a therapeutic boarding school in Utah died of sepsis after the school staff ignored her health concerns. Okay, this seems like this is just like the culture over there. The people in charge over there at Provo, I'm not saying everybody. I'm sure that there's people who aren't in charge who actually get victimized and die. But it seems like they just abuse people over here. They just use the law to abuse people, and they use the law to abuse people that they believe aren't going to be able to fight back. Like the kids they abuse in these schools. This is a child. This is a 17-year-old. Yeah, she ain't 5, but a minor nonetheless, with no legal right to leave if she wants to, trapped. Doesn't that sound just exactly like the man who died in Medina It sounds just like the man who died in Medina Dore's custody, and she was refusing to tell the staff. She was refusing to tell the hospital staff that he'd even taken any drugs. She said, "Oh yeah, he got in a fight with his brother, and he has, a cut on his foot and his hand." That show was so good. Wayward. If y'all have not watched Wayward, figure out a way to watch it. It is so good. Yes, she did go here. Paris Hilton. It's not just Provo Canyon, by the way. True. There's another school like this called the Hyde School in Bath, Maine. There's a lot of schools like this, and they're all child prison labor camp schools, and it's sick. Taylor Goodridge died of peritonitis, an infection of abdomen tissue followed by sepsis, which caused her organs to fail. Can you imagine the slow and painful death? And this callous staff right there in the same exact town where Medina Dore is a detective. You think Medina Dore is going to look into it? Probably didn't. This teenager, this child, was a member of the, oh my God. She was indigenous, Native American. She was a member of the Stillaguamish tribe. Stillaguamish? Shout out to the Stillaguamish cousins in the chat, and lived in Arlington. It's something that's easily treated with antibiotics, especially for a healthy 17-year-old, said her attorney. The first signs of this disorder are vomiting and stomach cramps, both of which she had for at least 2.5 weeks before she died. She was never taken to the hospital. Her complaints were ignored, and she was punished for making complaints. She was dying, and she was punished for making complaints. This is how they act. You give them a little bit of power over there in Provo, and this is how they act. The detectives in Provo are people like the likes of Medina Dore. You think they give a flying rat's ass? Look how she treats people. She let somebody die in her care too, according to lawsuits. The infection eventually spread to her heart, liver, kidney, and pancreas. Citing the medical examiner's autopsy results, she was allowed to call her parents once a week at the school that touts itself as a world-class residential treatment center and therapeutic boarding school, but the school staff allegedly blocked the child's access to her mother when she was sick. Utah Department of Health and Human Services records obtained show Goodridge vomited at least 14 times before she died, including 7 times within one 11-hour time frame. This is just callous disregard. This must be like Provo, Utah has to be like a training ground for like callous people that are eventually going to be super soldiers or something. I mean, this is just so grotesque. And it's not only Provo. For sure it's not only Provo. And I'm not trying to say it's only Provo, and I'm also not trying to say everybody in Provo is like this. But it's like a self-selecting group of individuals who would become a teacher at the Provo school, for example. Bruce, I agree. Bruce McGinnis says she is defective, not a detective. It's subhuman. I can't even imagine it. Like, there's some kids that are so bad, they need to be in a juvenile center for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been around those kids that's just like, I wish you could save them, but you just can't, and they need to be locked up somewhere. I've been around people like that. But what they do, like, somebody's throwing up 11 times, 7 times in 11 hours, like, you maybe just get them checked out. The same thing was happening with Medina Dore's victim, according to the victim's mother, in lawsuits. This lawsuit had to be settled. Medina Dore did not even get qualified immunity. She got sued for wrongful death. She had someone in her custody, in the back of a car, throwing up, having seizures at the police station. The nurse at the police station wouldn't even take this person in. Go back to the hospital. He died before he got there. Was pronounced dead when they got back. She did not tell the people at the hospital. She just looked at somebody vomiting and seizing and decide not to tell them. According to, I wasn't there. I just want to be very clear. I wasn't there. But imagine you grow up in a place. Everybody knows about this Provo Canyon school over there. If you're from around there, you're from Salt Lake, you're from Provo, let me know and put it in here. Does everybody know about Provo Canyon school over there? Put it in the chat. Gringo, you're from around there or what? The parents too. Oh, there's blame to go around. I think some of the parents, like the ones from, like, for example, this girl was a member of a Native American tribe. Like, how much I don't know. Does she live on the reservation? I don't know. There's questions that come to my mind about this where it's like, how much do these parents know? My parents wouldn't have known about how these schools operate, but like Paris Hilton's mama, you mean to tell me she didn't research the school before she sent her kid over there? Kind of hard to believe. So Braden said he grew up in Provo, has lots of issues. Let me ask you, Braden, and anyone else. Yes, Salt and Exile, yes. So people know about this school. Okay, I have a theory. That the parents in Provo specifically, but maybe in the surrounding areas, threaten their kids. Like, if you don't behave, I'm sending you to Provo Canyon. Somebody tell me, am I right or wrong about that? If you don't, do the parents like use it as the boogeyman? Like, if you don't stay in line and be the good little Mormon or a good little whatever, we're sending your ass to the Provo school. And then you have a record. Then you have a record as a problem child. And this is what we saw with like the Nick Reiner case. Now, this is not Provo. Obviously, this is in California. But it's like when you send your kid, or when a parent sends their child, their minor child, to a school for troubled kids, they got that troubled label on them forever. They can never be like, oh, I've never been in trouble, because it's like, oh, I had to go to the troubled school. I knew it. I freaking knew it. I knew it. I just had a feeling like I almost could hear it in my mind. Like I can almost like imagine. Told you I have like a photographic memory. I also have a very active imagination. Like pictures and slides of things show up in my mind. I almost could see it. Like, you be good or I'm going to send you to the Provo Canyon school where you belong. Like I just almost can hear it. They do, CC said. No one ever told me this, I don't think. Maybe someone told me this and that's where I got it from. But I think it's just my own theory. Like, everybody around there knows about the Provo school. And now I'm wondering, how many of these cops went to the Provo school? Because a big part of the Mormon, not religion, culture. I don't know about the religion. I never was a Mormon, and I ain't probably going to be a Mormon. I don't want to be a religion. But I know a big part of the culture, especially over there in Utah, is like the presentation of purity and cleanliness and upkeep, not doing any cursing, no tattoos, no drugs, no cigarettes, no coffee, God forbid. And it's like all of that is just like a performance. Everything's a performance. Look, I understand. I'm not picking on Mormons. I tell y'all every time, I have Mormons in my life. I love them. I do. I've never had any personal problems with a Mormon, never, not once. But the culture of that place, specifically right around Provo, appears to be, if you've ever had a sip of alcohol, you deserve to be in prison. And okay, fine, but you better be living your life like that too. And it seems like these people are hypocrites. Now I'm wondering, were a lot of these cops, for example, the Mormons also, they get assigned, this is from what I've seen on, YouTube videos and stuff. So correct me if I'm wrong, if you're an LDS or whatever, but they kind of like give you a little bit higher, priority within the church leadership if you're like a rich person or you own businesses or you're like really powerful or you're like a politician or something like that. And then it's kind of sort of like Scientology where you get more respect in the church because you got respect out there in the world. So it's like, oh yeah, like, we have this, doctor, this lawyer, this whatever. And then within the church, it seems to me you get kind of pushed up higher. So like if Tony Graff was in the church, for example, the district court judge on the Charlie Kirk case, he might get pushed up or bumped up. You heard the rumors about Outdoor Boys, who I love, by the way. I love that channel. Shout out to them. Go subscribe to them. But Outdoor, what was his name? I know the kid's name's Tom. Is his name Ben too? Outdoor... whatever his name is, he has a huge YouTube channel and he would get millions and millions and millions and millions of views on his videos. And then he kind of abruptly was just like, I'm not making no more videos, follow my son. But then at the same time, he gets promoted in the Mormon church. So people were, saying, he gave up the YouTube because he's a big deal now at the church or whatever. Maybe true, maybe not. But if you're living in a culture where like your reputation depends on your family and how well you are over your family, or as a parent, especially, women have certain expectations on them about cleanliness and how to keep the house and how, keep their bodies and things like that. And so I'm just thinking about this like in context, You think about it, other cultures, just so y'all don't think I'm picking on only Mormons. You ever heard of an honor killing? Where there's certain cultures where like the so-called purity, I don't like that word, but you know exactly what I'm talking about, of your daughter is so important, of someone's daughter is so important, they rather kill her than have the community know that she did something with a guy before marriage. Okay, so this is not something that only Mormons do, but because I know about this to some extent, and I know it exists, and I know how the culture is, and I know that Provo Canyon is right there, and I know how abusive that school is accused of being. Someone died there. This is how they treat people over there in the systems of, what am I looking for? Like the behavioral correction systems. These are behavioral, they're trying to correct people's behavior. Now keep that in mind because we're going to circle back around to Kai McAllister. All right, this is all going to web together. Thank you so much, Salt. As a teen, I was locked up in Payson for MJ and having relations because that is what you do, I guess. The one thing my parents would not do is birth control. I'm just reading something else. Yes. The culture of Mormon and Jehovah's Witness does appear to be very similar. This sort of purity thing. But the guy was 19, so I guess that was fine. No need to call police. Oh, I would have called the cops on the 19-year-old. If he was my child, the 19-year-old's going to jail. He's getting a record. You better stay away from my kids. Scientology too. Sinning on. Yep. A couple years ago, BYU suspended their quarterback for having relations outside of marriage. Yeah, exactly. The staff at the school, which apparently has a $12,000 monthly tuition per student, told Goodridge that she was faking it and she needed to suck it up. So they treat students just like they treat pigs in Utah County, it seems. When the 17-year-old student was experiencing excruciating pain, school employees told her to drink water and take aspirin. And aspirin probably make it worse. If you have sepsis and you have an infection in your stomach, probably make it like acidic. On the day of her death, staff allegedly forced her to get out of bed, take a shower, and go to the school's medical clinic. And that is where the family attorneys believe that she died. Diamond Ranch Academy, which is still accepting student enrollees. Oh, this isn't Provo. Bitch. It was in Utah, though. I thought it was Provo Canyon. Still, I'm gonna get to Provo Canyon, don't worry. On the day of her death, staff forced her to go to the medical clinic. We're devastated to learn. So this is how these schools work. And like we said, this isn't only Provo. Provo Canyon, they have like a survivors group on Facebook. Twitter, probably Facebook too. Provo Canyon School death. I thought there was a death there. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Somebody died of a gunshot wound. Now to boarding school. Paris Hilton has a whole documentary about this. So there's some news about this school is why I'm bringing it up. Let's take a look at the Wikipedia page. Provo Canyon School is a private for-profit residential treatment center for children and adolescents in Provo and Springville. So where is Medina from? Do y'all remember where Medina is from? She said in her Vimeo video, I'm a red dog, grew up in Springville. Since its founding in 1971, the facility has been the subject of extensive allegations, investigations, and litigation related to the treatment of residents, including claims of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse. These have been reported by former students, journalists, and advocacy organizations. In July 2026, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, so this month, Utah Department of Health and Human Services announced that they had revoked the license for the Springville campus, but all services are going to be terminated by August 6th this year. The main campus has restrictions, but will continue to operate. I want to get to like allegations, abuse. Okay, this is in Provo Canyon and Springville campus and Provo campus. Since its inception, the school has been subject to a large number of individual and class action lawsuits, particularly throughout the 80s and 90s. These lawsuits ranged from verbal, physical, and sexual abuse, medical negligence, violating students' First Amendment rights, and invasion of privacy, false imprisonment, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, civil conspiracy, and loss of being able to talk to their parents. And as I'm going through this list, I'm just like, this is everything that the American Fork Police Department did to those kids from the raid. All of this, American Fork, Provo, all of these cops that we've seen, I'm like, did they go to these troubled children's schools? Is it like they send the cops to these schools, they learn how to be callous? It almost reminds me, I was never in a sorority that was for rich people, and thank God, because thank God. But like, you know, I mean, put a 5 in the chat, put a 6 in the chat if you're familiar a little bit with like sororities, fraternities. And when people are going through, I've had many, many, many friends who have been in them, and I've talked to them. I'm fascinated with hazing. I think it's crazy, this hazing thing. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm leaving. I'm going to Taco Bell. I'll see y'all later. Like, I'm not doing it. Bye. Like, I'm not doing it. See you at the tailgate. I'm not doing it. So hazing has always fascinated me because I've always been a very strong-willed, independent thinker. Like, I've always just, but why? But why do we do it that way? But why does he do it that way? But that doesn't make any, I've always been a but why? I'm not doing that. I've always been that way. I've always been that way. And so anytime somebody's in a fraternity, a sorority, and it's like my friend or whatever, I'm like, tell me about the hazing. What did they do? I want to know. And why didn't you leave or whatever? And people's reasons are different. You know, different people are like, well, my dad was in it and he expected me to get through it. He knew what was going on. Or, you know, I wanted to have access to the test banks, or I wanted to be able to go to the parties with the pretty girl, like whatever stupid reasons or good reasons or whatever, you know. So one of the things that kind of like fascinates me is when people go through the hazing, they're like, this sucks. I hate this. But then the next year when they get to do the hazing and as they move up, they like it. They like putting that on other people. So now I'm like, are these cops like Medina Dore and Joshua Aaron Johnson, are these, no, he's not a cop, but the way he acts and the way he wanted Ben to be handled, like, are these all just abused children that think that they're ready to do it to somebody else now? I'm just curious. September 2020, media personality and socialite Paris Hilton premiered a YouTube original documentary, This is Paris. She attributes her chronic insomnia to PTSD developed as a result of being sent to 4 different troubled teen programs: CEDU School in Running Springs, California, Ascent Wilderness Program in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, Cascade School in Whitmore, California, and Provo Canyon School. After escaping from the first 3, she spent 11 months in Provo Canyon in the late 90s. She reported that she and other students were physically and psychologically abused. She said she and other students were administered unknown medication without consent, subjected to physical restraint, forcibly transported to the facility by a teen escort company. She was kidnapped in the middle of the night from her bed. And her mom did say it was okay. All of this stuff is Kathy Hilton's fault too, by the way. She had the resources and the money to figure out what they were going to do. She knew they were going to do it and she let them do it. Paris Hilton is like 17, 16 years old, sleeping in her bed. Huge men bust into her room and forcibly take her by force, physically, and throw her in a van and drive her into the Provo Canyon School. She stated upon her arrival she was subjected to a strip search and placed in a seclusion room for almost 24 hours. Hilton later described the school as the worst of the worst among youth residential programs. In October 2020, tattoo artist and television personality Kat Von D alleged that her parents also sent her to this school. Okay, so this seems to be a school that is raking in the money. $12,000 a semester. They said, oh, that was the other school. Sorry, I'm getting this one confused with the other Utah child abuse school. Kat Von D and Paris Hilton both were sent to the Provo Canyon School. And so this must be a really big money generator. This must just be a well-known school in the area, and people are threatening to send their kids there, if I had to guess. She said Kat Von D a famous celebrity tattoo artist, said her parents sent her to the school for a 3-week program, but ultimately she was held there for 6 months. She thought she was gone for 3 weeks. She said she claimed to have witnessed students being force-fed medications, sedated, and isolated. Kat Von D said that she left with major PTSD and other traumas due to the unregulated, unethical, and abusive protocols of the school. School in quotes. She said she couldn't really call them schools because they're not schools. They're lockdown facilities. I call them child labor camps and child prison camps. That's what it is. They're medicating them. They're forcing them to do things that they don't want to do. Like some of these places, people die. Kat Von D said that she was spared the sexual abuse and the physical abuse, but she definitely saw it happen. In October 2020, Paris Hilton and a group of her friends who attended Provo Canyon School led a silent protest with hundreds of others through the streets and neighborhoods of Provo, Utah, to bring awareness about the facility. Oh, good. Notable staff. D. Eugene Thorne, as head of the BYU Psychology Department, conducted electroshock and vomiting aversion therapy experiments on gay and lesbian students. He was also a psychologist and attorney for the Challenger Foundation. Yeah. The head of BYU Psychology Department did electroshock experiments on LGBT students at Provo Canyon School. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. In 1986, in April 1979, well, let's just start from the beginning here. History. In 1978, 3 students tried to escape from the school. They stole a car, and it prompted a high-speed police chase. The same year, the ACLU and the Juvenile Justice Advocacy Project filed a lawsuit alleging students. This is in the 70s. The school's still open. In the lawsuit, the ACLU and the Juvenile Justice Advocacy Project filed a lawsuit. They alleged that students were subjected to cruel and unusual punishment, denied constitutional rights, including claims of male censorship and the use of lie detector tests and solitary confinement. If y'all haven't watched Wayward, I believe it's on Netflix, you gotta watch it. You have to watch it. Don't give any spoilers, y'all, but it's crazy. So the very next year after that, they put this guy in charge of the school. D. Eugene Thorne. He became the executive director of the school in 1979. Now, in 1986, the school was bought by a company called Charter Behavioral Health Center. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2000, and then the school was sold to Universal Health Services. October 2020, a silent protest was held outside the school. Between February and April 2023, several incidents at the school prompted police involvement. In February, authorities investigated a report that methamphetamine, in February, I guess this year, okay, 2023. Gotcha. Between February and April 2023, 3 years ago, several incidents at the school prompted police involvement. In February 2023, authorities investigated a report that methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia had been found on campus, though the case was closed due to lack of evidence. In March 2023, there was a fight involving students that resulted in injuries to 3 individuals, including a staff member who was seriously assaulted and later died. Whoa. Police opened an investigation to determine whether the assault contributed to his death. In April, I swear they must have based a lot of that Wayward show. An sexual assault was reported. A riot in the school's living quarters led to injuries on a staff member later that year. But in July 2026, actually about a week ago, Utah's Department of Health and Human Services announced that they revoked the license for the Springville campus, citing failure to maintain the health and safety of children, engaging in unnecessary restraint and aggressive physical contact with clients, failure to report critical incident occurrences within a day, failure to ensure clients were treated equally, and failure to adequately train staff. The Springville campus was ordered to terminate all services by August 6th, 2026. This guy, D. Eugene Thorne, became the executive director of the school in the 70s. And guess what he did with that power? Guess what he did with that authority? He was the head of BYU's psychology department, and he conducted electroshock and vomiting aversion therapy experiments on LGBT students. He was also a psychologist and attorney for the Challenger Foundation. And this is what's going on over there. When they tell you they do stuff different in Utah, they are electroshocking children for being gay. That was the head of the BYU psychology department, by the way. And this reminds me of like Jody Hildebrandt, Ruby Frankie. They were abusing children. They're serving time in prison. One of their kids ran away. He was locked in a huge safe. He was locked in a safe. They were more than one child was left alone, isolated, solitary confinement. It's these type of overly controlling Mormons. It's not all of the Mormons, for sure. But let's not look away from what's really going on here. This is a culture. This is a subculture of a subculture where they have to get their kids under their control or else. And you can see this. Put a 6 in the chat. 7 in the chat. I think we're on 7. Put a 7 in the chat. If you can also see through the way that Ammon behaves and acts on the public body camera footage and on the public videos Ben has put out, and the way that Joshua Aaron Johnson acts, that this culture has permeated into at least them. Yes or no? Yes or no? Did I tell you to send that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Did I tell you this? It's like they're talking to a child, and that's how they talk to their children. It's like the Milgram experiment. They want to create sociopaths and then unleash them on us. Or put them in charge of the army, or put them in charge of psychology departments. Behave or else. Behave or else. Get out of the store, Crystal, or else. Which brings me around to Mr. Kai McAllister. I wasn't planning on getting to him today, but we've gotten through this a little bit faster than I thought. I think it's a good segue. Again, I'm not covering the whole thing today because I don't really know the full story. Kai McAllister was a topic of discussion this weekend. Why? Because Crystal Law the original owner of the store. Hold on one second. Hold on, I got a text. Okay. Crystal Law, the original owner of the Salem Kaiser store. So let's bring it back around, right? Remember Crystal? Actually, let me pull up my web. I know y'all do, but sometimes I just like to start as if, it's brand new, but, where do I have her? Wow. I can't believe how expansive this web is now. I have her on here. Oh, here she is over here. Her and her husband, Ben Gorman. So she's come out recently and made a statement and released publicly some previously unreleased audio. Let me pull that up. Ooh, today's page was huge. Oh, I guess I don't have it linked here. Let me just search it then. Okay, so here's our YouTube channel. And this is a kid that grew up, you know, around over there in the Mormon life and all that. Our full conversation with Kai McAllister.
For the full Kai phone.
Okay. So let's just listen to, I don't know, do I have the volume on. Let me just double check. Let's listen to a little bit of this to get an idea of why Kai has now made the list, okay? Because again, I'm always getting accused of being harassing. You're harassing people. You're harassing. No, I'm not. No, I am not. But before I go in on somebody, I like to make it very clear why.
Okay, y'all have asked for the full Kai phone call footage, so here you go.
Hey, this is Kai.
Hi, this is Crystal. You're on speaker. I'm here with Ben.
Yeah, this is Ben. So
Okay.
this whole thing is taking me completely by surprise.
Make sure I like the video. I thought I was, I'm subscribed on my other channel. Log in to all these different channels. Okay. So this is a conversation about the takeover of Crystal Gorman's store. Remember, her store was taken over. I mean, some might call it a hostile takeover. And I think that is like a specifically like a legal like business term of art. So I don't know if it was technically a hostile takeover or not, but we've all seen this now before. And this is a call that took place somehow around, you know, that time. I don't exactly know the timeline or whatever. Some of y'all might. But this is like around the time they were taking her store back from her. And this is a conversation, one of the few conversations that she did have where, you know, she's asking for clarification, and Ben, her husband, gets on the phone too. And not just her husband, by the way. He was also an owner. He was also an owner of the Bricks and the Minifigs franchise. So she had already had, Crystal apparently had already had a conversation with someone at corporate, and she was basically saying, look, we might move out of the country. I don't know, you know, what that means for the store. If we do move, if I move, I have someone that might want to buy the store or take it over, blah, 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 blah. And then basically they were like, no, your agreement is terminated anyway. So no, just go. Just don't worry about it. Just go and it'll be a clean break and all that. And she's like, what? And so that conversation had happened before this one that we're about to listen to. So this is like at least a second conversation, but instead of sending like the actual CEO or the director of operations or the CFO or anybody that's like a real adult, they send this like 20-something-year-old Kai McAllister to do their dirty work.
So explain to me what is going on from your perspective, because I'm wondering if there's been a miscommunication or if I'm just not understanding.
Yeah, and I totally appreciate you asking, Ben. It's good to talk to you. I've never talked to you before, so I apologize for that. But so I'm Kai, Director of Operations, as I said.
Since when was he Director of Operations? It's very interesting to me, this timeline, because we're going to talk about a guardianship that's going on in this family. Not to bury the lead, okay? There's a guardianship going on in this family. The Kai McAllister family. At least as far as from what I found. We'll talk about that in a little while.
So earlier today, we had so from our perspective, so Crystal did reach out to us and talk about you guys moving out of the country and wanted to know like what would need to happen before then. And so what we did is,
do you see where he's based? You see where he's based in that same place of that same school that was electrocuting gay kids? Yeah. No, I'm not saying he went there. I have no reason to believe he went there. But it's just the culture. It's the context. It's the geography. It's those people that work at that school live in Provo. It's all about using the law to control. Everywhere I look, it's about using the law to control. Whether it be the corporate and the civil law, whether it be calling the cops and lying, whether it be lying to judges. American Fork lied to a judge. Cole G. Richardson. Medina Dore lied to a judge. Okay? They are all lying to judges. Okay? That's weird. The cops are lying to judges. Why? I don't know. And it seems like it's just for control, to control the narrative, to control people, to retaliate. And it's starting to surface just how sinister the subculture of the subculture really is. And the crazy thing is that I keep seeing is the politeness, right? On the surface, it's so polite. Hi, sorry I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys, but fuck you, you're fired. I love to go to the Department of Homeland Security and spy on people but find that the drone. Cole G. Richardson, what's up, YouTube? Doing the devil sign, whatever he's doing. Sup, YouTube, sup, YouTube. Like, they're all being so polite while they're violating people's rights. They're all being so polite while they're using the law to control people. It's like a mind fuck. It's crazy.
And then we looked at the relationship that we have with you guys and where all the outstanding balances and everything, where we're currently sitting. And I'm not quoting exact numbers, but we're about $50,000 left on the original purchase of the store. And then we're about $25,000.
Keep that in mind too, because you heard it here first. There's something very sinister going on with the financing of the purchasing of a store. Okay, I have reason to believe that if there's a RICO going on at all, then this will be used to prove the RICO, because they finance the stores. In the finance, and this isn't even something I was really going to go over today. So again, I want to go through like the full thing when I have all my receipts up and stuff. But just from the top of my head, from my memory, Crystal posted filed her franchise agreement with the Brick and the Minifig in court. She had to publish and file the franchise agreement in court. And so in her lawsuit, she sued BAM. She sued the Brick and the Minifig, okay, and all of them. So in her lawsuit, there's her franchise agreement. And in her franchise agreement, from what I remember, again, this is just from my memory, it was like about $45,000 purchase price of this store. How in the world she still owes $50,000 on 45? Again, I wasn't planning to cover this today, so just, take that with a grain of salt. I don't really know. I'm not like looking at papers or anything right now. But I think there's something going on with the fact that BAM doesn't ever really, it seems, at least if you could look at the Crystal and Ben Gorman situation, and Last Relic, who has made public statements about this as well. It seems like BAM never really like relinquishes the ownership of these stores. Like, they still kind of stay on the lease. They still stay on the financing papers. They won't transfer the store. They won't transfer the company over until certain things are paid. And it's like, then when people try to pay it, they won't take the money. So then it's easy to just say, oh, that, we're repossessing it now. Again, I'm going to talk more about this like when I have had time to go through it, but I just want y'all to hear some of the stuff Kai says, which is like literally mind blowing. And why is he having this conversation? Why is he having this conversation and not the actual owners or the CEO? He's like, hey, I've never talked to you before. Sorry about that, but you're terminated.
Behind on royalties. And then the lease is technically in our name still.
See?
I don't know
why?
The whole situation that went into that.
Why is the lease in the name?
We're held liable for the lease, the rent that has been missing, and there's been some late fees tacked on that. And I think the total of that comes to around $25,000 that we had to take on, because the landlord reached out and was like, look, I'm going to terminate this. I can't do this anymore. Which, from what it sounds like, he was bad at communicating with you, and to be fair, he's been bad at, he hasn't been the best at communicating with us. So I'm not saying that is completely on your guys' shoulders.
So it's not your fault, but I'm holding it against you. Got it.
Either way, what we were looking at is about $100,000 in franchise terms, with the terms with everything. It would be $100,000 in damages. And looking at that, and then looking at the store and the possibility of you guys selling it and all those sorts of stuff, what we came to the conclusion is that
they wanted that Star Wars Lego collection, and they knew what was in that store. Brandon had already been in there scoping it out. That's my opinion, and that is what they said in the RICO lawsuit. They said Brandon had already been in there. He got sent over there by corporate to scope it out. They wanted that inventory. My opinion.
Best thing for you guys would be just to have a termination of the franchise agreement, clean slate. You guys walk away, we walk away, we don't go after you.
Clean slate. We take all the money you've ever paid us and all the shit in your store, and you leave. Bye.
Or any of the damages or anything like that. It's us accepting that you guys did a good, you guys did the work, kept the store open. You
He was gonna say did a good job.
pat yourselves on the back for that, and we'll accept that we're not going to get that $100,000. We're just going to walk clean slate. And then Brandon took over the Eugene store, and we talked to him and see if he would be willing to take over operations of this store.
Brandon. So Brandon, the corporate spy who they sent in with the spy glasses, they got so many problems with spy glasses, but they had Brandon with the spy glasses. Okay, got it. So Brandon went in there, spied, got a little inventory, and now Brandon's like, yeah, I'll take that store. I want that. But he was over there on an assignment from corporate. So he's corporate. So corporate's really taking the store. I mean, who is it? Is it corporate? Is it Josh?
Way we could solve everything. And when we jumped on a call today with Crystal, we talked that over, and I will acknowledge that it seems like the message wasn't quite got across that we were trying to convey. I apologize for that. But we did convey that there was going to be a termination and that Brandon was going to come over today to take over the store. And that's kind of where we're sitting. There should be sometime tonight, you guys will get an email with the details of the termination.
I think that's also a breach of the agreement. I don't think that the termination can be done verbally. I think the termination has to come in writing. So they didn't even send the termination agreement first.
Would like to be is we would like to work with you guys. Brandon did commit to doing an inventory of the store, because if the inventory of the store is over $100,000, like we're willing to open up conversations about that. But ultimately, Brandon is taking over the store, and the franchise agreement is terminated as of now.
Okay, so
they always say they're willing to have conversations about stuff, and they're lying. They're not willing to have a conversation about anything. It's like you're terminated by
the situation that we're in.
That it's helpful for me to hear that. A couple of points that I want to make sure to clarify. So this, by your own explanation, the precipitating event for this was we reached out and said we're considering moving.
And I gotta give it to Ben. I gotta give it to Ben Gorman. He raises some excellent points. He holds his words right against Kai's words right against him, which is appropriate. Kai did open up by saying, yeah, you reached out this morning, or you reached out about, possible potential, someone, leaving, selling, da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're going to terminate your agreement. So Ben said, okay, so as you just said, this is because we're moving, but we didn't move yet.
This whole ball rolling, correct?
No, not necessarily.
I'm pretty sure that's what you just said.
It is.
Yeah. What got this conversation started of doing a termination agreement, agreeing to walk away both ends without
Not true. That's absolutely not true. They do not need this 22-year-old directing operations of anything.
After you for damages, that was initiated by her reaching out.
Yes.
We have known for a while that you guys were behind on things, and we have been taking a look at what measures it would take for us to reclaim those damages. We wanted to work with you guys, but we were on wit's ends when it comes to the amount of money that we were still owed. And so the ultimate kicker that started us looking for a termination was when we were reached out by your landlord, which was actually before she called us. But this seemed like a better option for us.
It's your landlord, but we're still on the lease. How'd that work? Why? It's so funny because sometimes it's our. When it serves them, it's our. One of our franchisees, one of our franchise stores, one of our. But then when they want to take your shit, it's just theirs. And when they want to blame you for not paying the rent, it's not our landlord. It's your landlord. Your landlord. Isn't that interesting? It's like they teach them real early how to snake around with language.
So the challenge that poses, and I want to make sure that, again, that we're both on the same page. You understand that I am in the United States right now.
Right.
Yes.
You understand that I'm at the store right now.
Yes, I do.
So we have not violated that portion of the agreement yet.
Yes, but you have violated as of right now, you are $25,000 behind in royalties. You are still $50,000 off from.
Apparently, and I have watched this stuff, but like early on when I was watching a lot of this stuff, like I didn't have the full context, but apparently from what y'all are saying, from what I do remember, not only did they like not turn the lease all the way over to her, it's pretty convenient now, right? Because think about it this way. Let's say there was some type of altercation at the store, which I don't think there should be. I'm glad there wasn't. But let's say there was a physical altercation, the cops get called. The cops show up. Okay, let's just say. I'm not talking about between Ben and Sheldon. I'm not talking about between Ben and Bam. I'm not talking about Sheldon. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Chris. Let's just forget about Reckless Ben for a second. Just forget about them and all those people over there and just talk about the two parties here, right? Hypothetically, we're just talking about a situation that didn't end up happening, but you know, could have. If I was on the receiving end of this news, very likely could have happened where the cops needed to be called to my shit that I'm renting. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And so imagine the cops show up, right? Let's just imagine there was a situation where Crystal said, I ain't going nowhere and you can call the cops if you want to. And the cops show up. Well, then what? The cops don't want to get involved in a civil matter. What's going to happen? Bam's going to say, we have the bank account. We have the lease, our name on the lease. We have had contact with the landlord. And this is our store. And look, we have this contract. But what if the roles were reversed, or the shoe was on the other foot rather? What if Crystal was able to say, it's my lease, it's my bank account, it's my name on the lease, it's me who's been paying this rent. It's almost as if Bam, Bricks and the Minifig, it all come out in court. I don't know. I wasn't there. I've never spoken to Crystal. She was in here the other day. Shout out to her. It's almost as if Bricks and Minifigs manufactured a situation where if it ever came to blows, or if it ever came to the cops showing up, they would be able to, well, technically, we got our name still on the lease. She's behind on rent. We have this predatory contract, in my opinion. They hold bank accounts and leases, Latino Otaku said. They hold bank accounts and leases. They make it difficult to pay stuff. They agree to stuff outside the contract, and then they say it's a breach of the contract. Bam told her they owned the lease and would call the cops to trespass her if, yep. Isn't that interesting? Oh, well, the lease never got transferred. I don't really know what the deal is with that. But then when they come through, they're like, oh, well, our name's still on the lease. You got to get out. I feel like they do this on purpose. And I don't think it's isolated. I do not think it's an isolated incident. Why is it got to be adjudicated at all? It don't. Drop it. Well, she sued them, right? She sued them. And I think she should be allowed to adjudicate. I think they should be allowed to adjudicate. What if you are calling with a Medina Dore concern? Thank you to Pyrex for being a member 1 month. Y'all can call and give a concern. That's your right as a citizen. But they're going to have your number and they're going to be able to trace you back if y'all act stupid, which I know you wouldn't do. Thanks so much to Kay for the $2 super chat. Cycle of abuse, indeed. Thank you, Susie, for the $9.99. Now look at this good little soldier. They're training him up.
Paying off the franchise agreement, and we were reached out by your landlord telling us that he was looking to kick you guys out of the location, which is a damage on our end if the location goes under. So those three big things are things that are also breaches of the franchise agreement. And I don't want to do this, but we really could look. We've had problems with communication. We've had problems on a lot of other fronts that we could look into.
Here comes the threat. We don't really want to do this, but we could start making shit up and sue you.
What we figured would be better and what you guys would appreciate is if we just both walked away from this clean slate.
That's not clean slate.
Exactly.
For example, I have a cousin right now who is considering purchasing a location, right? Okay. There are other options we wanted to discuss with you. We reached out for the purposes of having that conversation and figuring out a better solution. And it feels very much to me like we reached out, precipitated a kind of investigation on your part, and instead of talking to us about good options, you've skipped to what is going to be a very expensive option for both of us. This is not a good option. Do you have the authority to talk about some other options with me?
So there are no more other options.
Well, that's simply not true. You don't have the power to do that. If we were to go to an attorney tomorrow and they put
Isn't that interesting? If you owe money, it's your landlord. If we're coming in to steal the store, it's our landlord. Yup.
Injunction on the store and closed it until we figured out who violated the contract more, the company's going to lose a significant amount of money. We don't want that. You don't want that. But you know that is entirely possible because the company violated the contract at least 4 times.
I'm going to tell you right now that when you read over the agreement,
just so y'all know, I found a guardianship that exists within his family of somebody's adult son, and we're going to look at it. Oh, yes, we are.
The determination that you're going to get today, if you pass that to an attorney, that's not going to be a battle that you or the attorney is going to want to fight with you.
You're not going to want to fight this, buddy. Now, we were told by Brian Mansell before that this is exactly what, I don't know about verbatim, but pretty much exactly what Josh Johnson told Brian Mansell, the guy who owns the Legos. We can go to court and you're not going to like it. I'm telling you, you're going to go to attorneys. They're going to say it's going to cost more to get your Legos back. Sue me, bitch, I think is what Josh said, Mr. High Counsel. I think he said, sue me. You took the Legos, bitch. Then sue me. Sue me. Sue me. It's like the same. He said that to Ben. Brian Mansell said he said it to him, which I believe. And now we have this little mini clone, Elder Kai McAllister, threatening the same. I can tell you no lawyer is going to want to take it, so you can just do what I say or else. Again, using the legal system and the law to control. This sounds like Legally Mine. This sounds like Vail Corporate. This sounds like that to me. This sounds like that to me. Using the law to control and get your thuggish way. Elder Kai McAllister
violated the contract at least 4 times.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I'm going to tell you right now. This 20-year-old.
The determination that you're going to get today, if you pass that to an attorney, that's not going to be a battle that you or the attorney is going to want to fight with you. And I understand where you're coming from, and this is a very emotional time.
Okay, this is another tactic of the abuser. An abuse tactic is to make it, you're crazy, you're emotional, you're worked up, like that idiot told me earlier. You're irritated. Yeah, I am. So it's called righteous indignation. It's called righteous indignation. It's called righteous indignation. Look it up. I'm mad. Yes, I am. I'll get mad again in the future. So what? Remember Adam 22? Put an 8 in the chat if you remember Adam 22:16, Grand Mason of Nashua from the No Jumper podcast, saying women like me to be locked up. He said, women like me need to be locked up because we're sick in the effing head. Do you know what I was doing that was so sick? Pointing out that somebody lied about the cause of death of a person addicted to drugs. She was in forced treatment, kind of like how they do at Provo Canyon, actually. It all kind of webs back together. Somebody was in forced treatment. She died. Then the people in charge of her treatment came out and lied about it, about how she died. It was provably, demonstrably a lie. So I start going and tell people, hey, look, she lied. They're lying about how this girl died. I don't know why. I'm not saying they killed her. I'm not saying they killed her. But I am saying they lied about how she died. And it was demonstrable. Adam 22:16 Gray Mason said, I need to be locked up for telling people that. This is an abuser tactic. This little, I'm not even sure if his testes have fully dropped. I'm not sure he's done going through puberty. And he's telling grown people about their livelihood, that it's terminated. And he's like, look, I understand this is an emotional time for you. Was it an emotional time for Knighton Weiser? Was it an emotional time for Knighton Weiser, McAllister? Kai? Because that's public records, baby boy. You want to play with the big dogs when you should have stayed on a damn porch. Woof, woof, bitch. Welcome to it. Your whole family's going to have their public roster read out because you weren't worried about this family. They have a child to support. This was their livelihood. You should have never took this assignment. This is one of them assignments you should have not did. But you did. And so now everyone's going to know about Knighton Weiser McAllister, and there's absolutely nothing that you or anyone else can do about it. And I understand that this might be an emotional time. Suck it up, Buttercup. Because we're going there. Because we're going there. Oh, we're going. It's public, too. It's all public.
The determination that you're going to get today, if you pass that to an attorney, that's not going to be a battle that you or the attorney is going to want to fight with you. And I understand where you're coming from, and this is a very emotional time. And I acknowledge that.
It is emotional.
He talks just like Ammon. He needs to run. He needs to get the hell up out of this place.
So tactically unwise. If you would have communicated with us, we could have found a solution that would have been much wiser for both parties.
Ultimately,
and you're not talking to me.
Ultimately, if you guys had not reached out telling us about you looking to move out of the country, you still would have gotten a termination.
When?
It may not have been right now. It would have been before the end of the year. It would have been probably this month.
They were going to terminate this because they knew about the Lego collection in the store, and these greedy little freaking money changers over there at the Brick and the Minifig just couldn't handle it. Also, remember when they terminated her thing was right before Christmas. Do y'all know? I mean, I know y'all do know, but just to remind you, you know what Black Friday is, right? Why they call it Black Friday? Because in retail, historically, and from probably most businesses still, when it's like retail stores, not only does the majority of their business get done in those last few months of the year leading up to the holidays, but usually that's when they go from in the red to in the Black Friday. So if the Brick and the Minifig needed to have some revenue coming in, and the biggest Star Wars collection on earth or whatever, I know it's not, I'm being hyperbolic, but this all went down in November, remember? What was the next month? Say it with me. What comes after November? December. What's in December? Christmas. When is Black Friday? November. They wanted in that store to sell those Legos for their bottom line. That is my opinion based on the freaking calendar. When was Black Friday 2024? Black Friday this year, that year that this happened, was November 29th. When did she get kicked out of her store? November 14th. So they wanted their people in there. They wanted the Legos. Not only did they want to sell the Legos out of the Kaiser, Oregon store, they probably, this is my opinion, speculation, because I don't know these people. They certainly didn't tell me anything. I'm not in any contact. I know there's been some people in contact with store owners. Not me. Not me. I will tell y'all, I did go into a Brick and a Minifig the other day just because I was so curious, and I had a funeral this weekend. I didn't buy anything. And I'm not even going to disclose which one I went to. But I just want to be, full transparency. I have been inside one Brick and one Minifig one time. Okay, it was one time. It was this weekend. And maybe I'll talk about my experience another time. I didn't buy anything. I don't want to speak on the experience at this time, but I just want to let y'all know I'm not in contact with any owners. I did not tell the people in the store who I was. I was like kind of in disguise, to be honest. I just walked around. It wasn't like I was in there to like cause a ruckus. I didn't even talk to them about any of this. I don't know if they recognized me. Probably not, because like I said, I was kind of like in disguise. But I just kind of wanted to see. I was nearby because we had a funeral to go to, and I was like, let's just see what it's like in there or whatever. And it kind of like is just like exactly like what it looks like online or whatever. But anyway, so that's the full extent of any contact I've ever had with any Brick and any Minifig. I did not talk to the person. I'm not even going to disclose. I did talk. That's wrong. I did talk to the person, but I didn't talk to them as a YouTuber. I was just like, oh yeah, no, we don't need any help, like that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And he showed me this Taj Mahal Lego, which was really cool. But that was pretty much it. So I'm not in contact with any of these people. I have no dog in the fight on this. I just think it's wrong. This is crazy. Okay, so Latino Otaku said, I think Crystal owed that supposed $200,000 to BAM because if you break your contract, you have to pay all the year's royalties up front. So it's 5 years. And if you break it in year 2, you pay for the remaining 3 years. I thought they had 10-year contracts. Yeah, then that cash only sign. So it's my opinion, because of the fact that Kai said this too. He said, I can tell you anyway, we were going to end your contract anyway, even if you weren't moving out of the country. All of this taken together with the time of the year, I think that's true. I think they were going to hostile take over her store, and she made it easier for them to do that by saying that she was leaving anyway, and they're saying that they had to mitigate their damages. They should have sent somebody that actually had a single idea what in the hell they were talking about other than this infant. But since they did, he wants to play with the big dogs. So we're going to show him how the big dogs play. Legally, civilly, please nobody contact Kai or anybody mentioned in this video, nor his family, but his family has seen fit to go to the courts and conserve somebody in their family, and we're going to look into it. Not today, but I'm just letting y'all know. Knighton Weiser McAllister, as of 2024, was in a conservatorship. We're going to talk about it.
And it wouldn't have been on these same terms of us looking to have a close. So what I'm going to tell you right now is if we go the legal route, there is no option for clean slate. We will be seeking all the liquidated damages.
So we're going to take the store. You're not going to say shit about it. And if you sue us or try to make a fuss, we're going to sue you and try to bankrupt you. That's the translation that I heard in my head. Put a 9 in the chat if that's what you heard in the translator in your head too.
And that is going to be an expensive battle. You're right. It's going to be a very expensive battle for you. And it's not going to be a good position for you guys to get into. No. Which is why we...
So Ben says to this elder Kai McAllister, all of like possibly 20 freaking 2 years old. He might be not even that old. Elder McAllister, he says to Elder McAllister, look, if we sue you, it's going to not be good. It's going to be expensive. Elder McAllister turns back around and says, no, it's going to actually be expensive for you, and it ain't going to be good for you.
I'm going to tell you right now is if we go the legal route, there is no option for clean slate. We will be seeking all the liquidated damages. And that is going to be an expensive battle. You're right. It's going to be a very expensive battle for you. And it's not going to be a good position for you guys to get into.
For you guys?
Which is why we figured that the option for us saying, hey, we're forgetting that $100,000. We're forgetting that. We're letting you walk away and we're putting a store owner there to keep the store running. But as of right now, as of when you get that termination notice, your franchise agreement is done and there's not that relationship between us. You also do not have legal rights to the location of the store in because we're the leaseholders. And
your landlord until we're the leaseholders. So bitch, it was you were the landlord. Cuck. You were the landlord. Y'all were you said we are the leaseholders. You use that what is it, a first person plural, we. That means you're referring to yourself. So why weren't y'all paying the rent if it's your lease? This is so messed up. This is so sinister. And they're sending this little freaking church boy to threaten. And he admits it's a threat. Just wait.
So there's not a whole lot of options for you. If you want to go the legal route, it's just going to be a mess and it's going to be expensive for you.
Sue me, bitch. Sue me, bitch. You took the Legos, bitch. This is a bunch of freaking thugs, if you ask me.
Yeah, so why not consider talking with us rather than leaping to this?
We jumped on the call with Crystal.
Ben, I'm sure you know this by now, but you know why. It was because they wanted them Legos and they wanted to get a Black Friday, probably to save them from the red they were in, if I had a guess.
And you talked with her or you talked at her?
We talked at her.
Oh my God. Is this Reckless Ben for real? What? Ah! This Kai guy definitely sounds like he has a bright future cousin. Can we get some claps for Reckless Ben? Okay, I won't fangirl too hard since you're just passing through here to enjoy the show. But girl, can we talk about this guy? Ben, did you know Kai's parents put what I believe to be one of his brothers in a conservatorship? Knighton?
With her. Ultimately, on the call with Crystal this morning.
And you talked with her or you talked at her?
We talked at her.
Yeah.
We sought to talk with her. Ultimately, we have every right to do what we're doing.
No, they don't.
I believe you believe.
Choosing to do a clean slate is us giving you guys grace. If you fight this, then you're putting yourself into a whole lot of shit, and I don't want to do that.
If you fight this, it's putting yourself into a whole lot of shit. They're training him right up. Oh, this is the next Joshua Aaron Johnson.
So I would sit down, you and Crystal, talk over the $100,000, and figure out if that's going to be worth it to try and fight that, you guys. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not.
I want you to consider, and please take this to your employers.
Oh man, I would have cussed him out.
How is saying you have no options, and if you don't do what we say, you're going to be in a whole lot of shit, giving grace. Does that sound like grace to you?
Yeah, tell him, Ben.
What's giving you grace is saying that we are not going to go after you for the $100,000.
Does that sound like grace to you?
It sounds like a threat, and I can acknowledge you feeling that because in a way it is.
I'm speechless. This ain't even the first time I heard this. I can acknowledge it sounds like a threat because it is.
Is saying that we are not going to go after you for the $100,000.
Does that sound like grace to you?
It sounds like a threat, and I can acknowledge you feeling that because in a way it is.
Okay. I'm glad that we've established
Me too.
that you ended this relationship by threatening people and then them taking a financial loss. Because when we need to go to people who are saying, should
That
we
is
start a business
so
with bricks and
sick.
minifigs, we can say,
And look, they probably get away with doing this all day. This is probably like, I don't know. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. But this is probably an MO. And they probably just send whichever old little like person's kid, intern, whoever to just do this. Like this is people's livelihoods. Like maybe there was a breach of a contract or whatever, but then you're going to take away the whole, oh man, you're not even going to let them talk to the CEO who they entered into the contract with, the agreement with. He said at the beginning he never even spoke to them. He's like, sorry about that. This is a threat. One more time. We got to hear this threat.
to you.
It sounds like a threat, and I can acknowledge you feeling that because in a way it is.
Okay.
In a way, it's
I'm
a
glad
threat.
that we've established that you ended this relationship by threatening people and then them taking a financial loss. Because when we need to go to people who are saying, should we start a business with bricks and minifigs, we can say, in all honesty, they ended the relationship with us by threatening us and then demanding that we take a loss. Consider that when going with them for a franchise. They leave you holding the bag and they threaten you as you go out. And
Seriously.
you just acknowledge that. This is the way you do
Here comes another threat. Here comes another threat.
this.
I really, really encourage you to read through that termination agreement because there's going to be things in there that if you seek to go after us or if you seek to defame us, like that's also not a pretty. We're trying to do our.
We're going to take your store. We're going to take all the shit in it. You're not going to fight us on it. And you're not going to say a word. And if you do any of the things, we're suing you and bankrupting you. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
I would not say anything untrue.
And ultimately, you can say whatever you want to say. Just be aware that there are legal consequences of things. So, what I'd encourage for you.
Does he also kind of just remind you of exactly how Dan McNeff talks? Like they all just get in this echo chamber and have nobody with any sense to tell them like to use a little bit of judgment.
To do is read through that termination agreement, which you will get tonight. Look over it. If you really feel like it, you can read through the franchise agreement because you have every right to do that. Just know that the franchise.
You have every right to read through you having your stuff stolen or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to say stolen because they're going to be like, do you even know what theft is? Like, I actually think it's pretty shitty that they put Kai in a position to do this. But at the same time, if you want to, like I said, roll with the big dogs, get ready to play, you know, what we doing off the porch. You should have stayed on the porch, but now you're rolling with the big dogs. Woof, woof.
The agreement is terminated. Brandon is the owner of the store. And if you fight him on that,
we're not going to. I understand he's just been stuck in the middle. This is not.
Yeah.
He didn't.
He was a corporate agent as well, and BAM has admitted that now in the RICO they filed against Reckless Ben and Victor and Brian Mansell and all of them. So I mean, he was not just a random owner of the store also, which they've now admitted in their own lawsuit, but they're again kind of lying, at least being deceptive in my opinion. Here,
pull the trigger on this. You did.
And I appreciate that. Please don't put Brandon in the middle of this. But what I told Crystal is after you guys read through the termination agreement and the franchise agreement, I have discovery day tomorrow morning until the afternoon. But then we can jump on another call and we can talk it all through. If you have any questions about the termination agreement or questions about specific things in the franchise agreement, we can jump on and we can talk about that.
If you have any questions, we might answer them, we might not, but you're not getting your stuff back. We're going to be taking possession of that. And if you don't like it, if you fight us, if you argue with us, if you complain too much, or if you tell anyone about it, we're going to sue you into bankruptcy. And there's really not anything you can do about it. It's going to suck for you. And it's a threat. That's like, I mean, the TLDR of this call, right?
You have the authority to negotiate that agreement, or do we need to talk with someone else?
Good question. Good question, Ben.
I act on behalf of the franchise, and I've been tasked with working on this.
assigned.
Okay, I just don't want to end up in a situation. I have negotiated a lot of contracts. I don't want to end up in the situation where you say I don't have the authority to make
Right,
changes.
because a lot of times this is what these powerful entities will do. They'll put somebody in a position. They'll actually put the person in the position to do the thing, and then the person goes do the thing. But then if they get sued over it, they'll just be like, oh, we had no idea. He didn't even have authority to do that. Oh my God, we had no idea. We didn't even know. This happens. This is a tactic. I'm not saying this was specifically what happened in this particular case, but this does happen and I have seen it.
To this contract.
So they send this Kai and he's like, no, I do have authority to act on behalf of the company. It's pretty messed up and bad business and acting in very bad faith to not at least have the person who you actually negotiated the contract with in the first place, like probably Ammon or Matt, like one of the franchise sellers. They just send this freaking random kid.
Authority to make changes to that tomorrow.
Okay. I don't have the authority to make changes to that contract, and no one with authority to make changes to that contract would make changes to that contract.
That is, you can't know that. So let's sit down.
Right. How
I would
would he
rather
know?
sit down with somebody who has the authority to make changes to the contract rather than sign a contract with somebody who can't negotiate it. Again, I feel like the company is saying we've made all the decisions and we are refusing to negotiate about anything. This is bad business.
Yes. Agreed.
So tomorrow we'll set up a call, read through those things, and tomorrow we'll set up a call.
Okay, Dan and Ammon McNeff, like clone. Oh, I would be.
We have no choice, correct?
I'd be infuriated.
Yes. I mean, you have a choice to have a call with me, us tomorrow. That's up to you, but yes.
Okay. Well, we can do that. I would advise you to have representation. I think we will as well.
Okay.
They are not scared of
figure out
lawyers, afraid of lawsuits, LLC.
If we have representation and you have representation in the room, is that a good use of your funds if you don't have the authority to make decisions relative to that contract?
In this instance, if you're bringing representation, we'll bring representation. That's a totally fair use of our funds, because we'd rather walk away with this with us agreeing to walk away without seeking any other damages. So we'll have that call tomorrow.
Oh, it's infuriating.
All right. Well, we will talk to you then.
Okay. See ya. Thank you for jumping on this call.
Thanks for jumping on the call. I want to be in the political climate. Da, 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 da. So that's that. Okay. And again, I'm just starting to notice a pattern, a theme, a culture right around this area of the world, right? And it's not everybody, but it's like the people who manage to, I think it's, kind of a self-selecting, like a snake eating itself situation. Because like on the one hand, there's people who act like this, but it almost seems like you have to act like this in this area of the world to get anything done. And the people, it's kind of like, percentage of psychopaths in the world might be 2%, but they're like extremely overrepresented as CEOs and heads of companies, because a lot of times you have to be sort of cutthroat and whatever. And it's like, I'm starting to notice a pattern just ever since I started looking into this case of people using the law and legal mechanisms to abuse, to manipulate, and to control people and other and situations to get their way. It's like, yeah, no shit. I mean, obviously I'm a lawyer. I know people use the law to get their way. However, it's like multiple layers of this. There's the school. They just shut down the Provo Springville campus. There's Medina in them over there. I mean, wrestling the pigs in the mud like a beast, like a grotesque beast creature. There's lying to the judge. There's also like a manipulation of the law. That's another thing that I noticed. They really all have a very difficult time understanding what the actual law like actually says and actually is. That's a class 2 misdemeanor. No, it wasn't. Like so many things they've said with so much confidence are just not true. But the only way that you could possibly fight them back is to go to court. And they know how to navigate courts. They're not scared of court. I mean, they kind of are. I think they're much more afraid of a YouTube video than court. I'll say that. But it's like they're all just using the law. They're all just using the law erroneously, abusively to control people. The cops are doing it in multiple jurisdictions. The judges are doing it. The judges are helping out the prosecutors to take away people's rights. They're looking up statutes for people. They're doing the lawyers' jobs. They are silencing people over there, using the law to silence people. They're using the law to avoid lawsuits. They're using the law to avoid paying out on lawsuits. It's just like, oh, it's sinister. I just couldn't. If I lived over there in Salt Lake City, I would move. Or Provo, I would move. Salt Lake City, maybe I don't know if I'd move because that's like a big one or whatever. But like, girl, guess what? Kai McAllister, coming as a surprise, definitely not to me, is let me pull up my web. He's an elder. He's an elder. He went on his mission to New Zealand, but then he got reassigned, whatever that the hell means, to Baltimore, Maryland. And there he is right there, Elder McAllister. Look at that. And his name is spelled so weird, K-I. Okay. So who posted this picture right here? This one right here? It was this account, Todd Christie Bassett McAllister. So I can only assume this is his parents. They look very young. This is 2019. And this picture right here was taken in 2020. Okay. So I don't think anybody's talked about this yet, but I looked up, I mean, I just simply Googled this. There's a man by the name of Todd Kai McAllister. And would it surprise you to find out the man works in corrections as a registered nurse in like a jail? That's what it looks like to me. I mean, this is a public website. He's had all these licenses. This is public licensing. Todd Kai McAllister. It's the same type of spelling, that K-I. I mean, I've never seen a person spell their name like this. So can only assume that this Todd McAllister is Todd Kai McAllister. I don't know. I'm telling you how I got to this information. But he's been a nurse, temporary registered nurse, temporarily licensed practical nurse with the LPN, and now is an active license in Springville, the campus where Provo just got shut down. It's the same exact little neighborhood. And it's the place where Medina Dore grew up. Okay. Now she now works at the Provo Police Department. And Ben is also being prosecuted in Utah County. Okay. So Utah County and Provo. I'm just trying to now figure out, is some of the pull that they have with the cops coming from Kai McAllister's daddy, who works at the jail? Was Ben over there at the Springville jail? I mean, look, this is the information I found. Again, I don't know if this is for sure his dad, but these are the reasons why I think it. This post was posted right here. This one right here. Elder McAllister. We're so proud of Elder McAllister. Which account posted it? Was this one right here on Facebook. Todd Christie Bassett McAllister. Okay. Now this kid's name, now he's an adult, I guess, is K.I. McAllister. Like, what are the chances of two K.I. McAllisters? You know, I don't know. Here's Todd Kai McAllister. And I do know this kid, Kai McAllister's dad's name is Todd. So is this maybe some of the connection? Is this maybe why they're so comfortable calling the cops up? It's just and the weird coincidences don't end there. Guess who else was a corrections officer who worked in the corrections facilities? Dan McNeff's father. Okay, this corrections officer people. Guess who else worked in corrections? Medina Dore's husband, who's not allowed to be a cop anymore, so he had to be or I shouldn't say isn't allowed, who, from what it appears, isn't allowed to be a cop anymore. It's like all these corrections officers. He goes from a correction officer, now he does real estate. Let's go take a look at Todd Kai McAllister's nursing license. Why don't we? Okay. Todd McAllister Crowley. Okay, I'm searching. All right, so Sumner Todd McAllister, no. Sumner, no. I'm looking for Todd Kai McAllister with the K-I. He was a temporarily licensed nurse in Nephi County. Then he worked in Provo as a temporary licensed practical nurse. Provo again, licensed practical nurse. And then Springville as a registered nurse. Okay, this is the license number. You click here, it brings you to his page. Springville, Utah, nurse, registered nurse. License number 6205203-3102, obtained by, he applied for it. He originally got it in 2007, and it expires next year. No disciplinary actions within that time frame. Okay, so he went to Utah Valley State College. Interesting, but I found this government payroll information for Kai McAllister's dad, and it's making me wonder how deep the connections between Bricks and Minifigs and the police go. Is it deeper than they're just Mormons? Maybe it's that, but maybe it's something more, like they all have this corrections background. Did Medina Dore know Kai McAllister's daddy from the prison or something? Does Medina Dore's husband, who used to work in corrections, know Kai McAllister's nurse daddy? Okay, so the first Google search, Todd Kai McAllister. Again, I didn't do the DNA test. I don't know if this for sure his dad, but I do know that Kai McAllister's dad is named Todd. And it would be a hell of a coincidence for this Todd to not be his dad with that same exact weird ass spell. I mean, we're not talking about John. We're not talking about, some normal middle name. This is the first and only time I've ever seen somebody with K-I as their name. Usually Kai is K-A-I or Malachi, C-H-I, right at the end of the name. So I've never seen this K-I. This looked like Key to me. But I go to this open payroll thing and let's see, Todd McAllister. No, I don't want that. Let's see. I don't want the background report. Utah County records show Todd Kai McAllister held one job between 2010 and 2022. One of the most recent records in 2022 lists a job of registered nurse, corrections, and a pay of $180,000 a year. This is 163% higher than the average pay for coworkers and 151.7% higher than the national average for government employees. The highest paying job he ever held was a 2019 registered nurse in corrections making $200,000. Well, now we have something brand new to look into, huh? $180,000. Now, this is just like a, openpayrolls.com. I don't know for sure if this person is related to Kai McAllister, but it would be one hell of a coincidence. Let's go back to the web. His original LinkedIn stuff is gone. Thank you. That's where I was headed next. There's a Reddit post somewhere about it. Here. It's in the Reckless Ben Reddit community. Kai McAllister LinkedIn profile. Computer science student. Python. Provo, Utah, United States. Executive Projects Manager. Bricks and Minifigs official. Computer science student, Python, JavaScript, C++, first school certification 2023, my interest in math, da-da-da-da-da-da. And this is what it looks like now, womp womp. Kai McAllister is listed as a project manager at Bricks and Minifigs in the Google search results. But when you go to open the profile, it says this profile doesn't exist. I hope somebody archived it at the very least. So this was a month ago. Shout out to OK Caterpillar 5672. Kai McAllister, that he used to have a LinkedIn, now it's gone, running like a little rat, like a little cockroach, just like how they've been acting the whole time over there. Just like how they've been acting the whole time. Thanks so much to Scruffy Mans for the $2 super chat. The store is illegally mine, LLC. Woof woof. Thank you, Cora, for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Yagan Youth, for the $5 super chat. Love your work. Don't care what they say about you. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Kitty Aki, for the $2 super chat. Hi, cousin. Yes, welcome, Ben. Welcome our cousin Ben to the chat. Thank you, Man Blossom, for the $5. He's probably gone now. He has stuff to do. I'm sure he's probably gone, but that was so cool. Thanks so much to Man Blossom for the $5. How is it legal to take the store and charge them for lost revenue? If the store is still open, what losses are there? It's just threats. I mean, he admitted it was a threat, too. This MO, thank you, Daybreak, for the $4.99. This MO has a term. It's called franchise churning. Oh, y'all are funny. Look at y'all at the same, hooked up to the same mothership. Man Blossom said it, too. Out here churning franchises. Thank you for the $2. Thank you to Rose Investigates. Shout out to Rose Investigates. Thank you for $2 super chat. Contracts of adhesion are often found unconscionable. Yes. Wait, I think I was reading something about that on the... Where was I reading that? The band map? Thanks so much to Wendy for the $2 super chat. Law Talk would call it conversion, right? Well, we'll have to see it. I mean, that's for a jury to decide. Innocent until proven guilty and all that. But I think it's okay for like a lay person. Actually... Let's ask Zachariah Perry. This is one of the notes. This is one of the notes I took from Josh Johnson's business associate / possibly partner, Zachariah Perry. Okay, we're on page 38 of his book. And he says, a violation of a property right would ordinarily constitute a tort or a crime. For example, a violation of the right to possession. So this is like he's talking about property rights. I'm only going to read one little paragraph here, but you'll see why I'm doing that in a second. He's like, usually if somebody violates your property rights, these rights to possession, control, exclusion, and depending on the circumstances, trespass to chattel, which is like the unauthorized borrowing, or conversion, and he puts in parentheses, stealing, both are torts. Okay, so basically, okay. He's saying... in the context, I don't know what chapter this is. It's just about 401ks. I don't know. I'm so bored reading this book. But he's like, he literally calls conversion stealing. He puts it in here, right here. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to see it. It's right here. If you could pause it. I don't know. My camera does not autofocus, but it's, and now I got lipstick on the page. This book's going to be worth $1 billion one day because of that. Just kidding. But look, on the 1, 2, 3, 4th line on the 38th page, Zachariah Perry calls conversion stealing. So that must be them, you know, over there admitting. Now, he doesn't work for the Brick and the Minifig, but he has associations with Josh Johnson. If he can call conversion stealing in his book, why can't Ben call conversion theft in his video? Do you even know what the definition of theft is? Do you even know? Do you even know? Thank you for the $2. And thank you to Vicky for the £5 super chat. A voice on TikTok talking about this franchise takeover stuff. Her own story is horrifying. Trying to remember her name. She went to the White House? Oh, man. That's crazy. I don't know if I want to post a picture of it because he's going to try to sue me for copyright or something crazy. Somebody said I'd buy it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what's going on today. I had some more stuff that I wanted to get into. Let's see. I want to circle back around to the whole Kai McAllister thing. There was also a couple interviews that Ben has done lately. For example, Iced Coffee podcast, which I'll get more into that another day. I'm not in the mood today, but I have a whole side story on that whole thing. I didn't really particularly appreciate how they were handling Ben, and I did not particularly appreciate how they were handling a lot of the topics they were talking about, but that's their channel. They could do what they want over there. Ben also went on another podcast called the Unsubscribe podcast. It was very extremely long. I think they probably could have cut out a lot of the hosts talking about extraneous things, but Ben was cute and precious. Victor was on there too. So that happened. Let's see. Okay. This is so funny. I want y'all to watch this YouTube video. It's like every day of the Reckless Ben case. And I kept trying to figure out like which one is me. Cause like on the one hand, I feel like the one person, on the other hand, I feel like the other person, but it's going to be pretty obvious which camp we all fall into. It's just, this is the memes section of the video. We're in the memes section This is a memes.
Happened to Rick Spence. They silenced him. Won't let him post his final expose. Wait, is this about that?
The name of the video is What Every Lego Scandal Update Feels Like.
Hey man, hear what happened to Rick Spence? They silenced him. Won't let him post his final expose. Wait, is this about that Lego scandal again? The bricks and minifigs crisis of 2026. Yeah. I still don't fully understand what's going on. Like YouTubers trying to get some Legos back from a shady company, and the cops got involved.
This is how I feel. Okay, this is me at the beginning of the Reckless Ben scandal. I'm like, so what? It's Legos? Like, what? Did he get them back? Like, what's the deal with I don't what? Then little by little, I like turned from this guy into the other character where it's like, this is a constitutional crisis.
Right? That's cute. Maybe you should study up a little bit. See you tomorrow. Crazy update. Global manhunt is underway for Reckless Ben. I heard he's taking refuge in China, but no one knows for sure. Word on the street is that Utah's going to Maduro him.
Maduro him?
It could go that far, yeah.
So this is still about Legos,
This
right?
goes bigger than you could even imagine. Does the name Archduke Franz Ferdinand have any meaning to you?
Not really?
He was at the start of something huge. I'll see you tomorrow.
Archduke Ferdinand started World War I.
New update in the story. I've got like 10 new glub shitos to explain to you, and you're going to hate all of them.
Here's what I don't get. Won't all this get hashed out by lawyers? Like, how is there so much content in this story?
Lawyers.
Yeah, like lawyers. This guy's talking to lawyers, right?
See you tomorrow. Crazy Lego update. He has lawyers.
Are you this guy's legal counsel now?
The evidence is lining up. The corruption is finally being exposed. They can no longer silence him. He's posting again.
Which means...
See you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
I thought that was fun. That was fun and cute. Okay, what else? Okay, I have another meme video. CEO steals from a baby and the mother is arrested.
Hi, I think I'm supposed to pick up some Legos on consignment.
We don't do consignment here.
It's Anna.
Arrest her!
I'm American.
Arrest her!
Yes, boss.
No, we won't be cornered by coffee better other reporters. So get over it, say you're dealing drugs and sue for.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the authenticity of this costume? The mustache. He made a whole song.
$1 million. He said
the irony, I think he's like in a brick and a minifig. I think he is in one of those stores. Who is this person? Let me subscribe to him just for the song. Wait, I want it to go back. Let me rewind. Okay, here we go. Look at the store they're in.
So get over it, say you're dealing drugs and sue for $1 million. He said, don't talk to me about Brian's spreadsheet, or you'll have to deal with our legal team.
It's too good. Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again.
Hi, I think I'm supposed to pick up some.
What is going on with this? Hold on, let me refresh. I don't like this little. Okay.
Hi, I think I'm supposed to pick up some Legos on consignment.
We don't do consignment here. Arrest her!
I'm American.
This cameo with the fork.
Yes, boss.
No, we won't be cornered by coffee better other reporters. So get over it, say you're dealing drugs and sue for $1 million. He said, don't talk to me about Brian's spreadsheet, or you'll have to deal with our legal team. Ooh.
Yes, love that. Anyway, okay, that was fun. Okay, so this is the meme section. Is Ammon actually a demon? Coincidence? Ammon, in demonology, is a grand marquis of hell who governs 40 infernal legions and the 7th spirit of the Ars Goetia. He is the demon of life and reproduction. Is he a demon? Yes or no? Yes or no, is he a demon? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is he this demon? Is Ammon this demon? Yes or no, yes or no? Same eyes, same mustache. Okay, all right, we're still in the meme section. What else? Oh, there's a Lego movie. Okay, a 4-minute long Lego scandal movie. I don't think I watched this.
This is Brian. He got his Star Wars Legos.
Oh, this is JB Films. Okay, shout out to him. He's actually one of the animators on Definitely the most recent brick in the minifig situation. I think this is the video he was talking about in his video that we already watched, where he's like telling the story of how he got this little job, or how he got the job for the part in, I say little job, but this is like a longer one. Like after he went through all the ways he actually sets these videos up, it blew my mind. Okay, so this is his Lego little animated movie. I guess it's not animated. It's stop motion. Stop motion.
This is Brian. He got his Star Wars Lego set stolen by Blix and Minifigs, and I'm going to help him get his Legos
Blix
back.
and
So I drove from California to Oregon to talk to the manager. Hey, can we get Brian's Legos back?
Nah, man, you can't ever get the place. Yeah, we're trespassing you, buddy.
Dang, I'ma start a cult. I mean, legitimate club. So I'ma go do
Look
that.
at the set. Look at the buy, sell, trade on the window. And he's got the little, this is so cute and creative.
This is Victor. He's gonna cosplay as Mr. Beast for a second.
And this is not, this is Victor. He's going to cosplay as Mr. Beast for a second. This is not AI. This is like he moves them around like old school stop motion animation.
I just got these 2 employees to compete for $100, and they have 60 seconds to get as many yellow bricks as they can.
3, 2, 1.
For audience retention, just skip this. Now that we have our winner, we went to the middle of nowhere where this girl would definitely not feel like she's about to be kidnapped, and crowned her while chanting brick by
That
brick.
was crazy.
Brick by
I would
brick.
never have gone
Brick
with
by
that.
brick.
And that was enough to convince her to give us the owner's phone number. Now we can finally call up the owner, Bosch, and get this all sorted out once and for all.
Bosch. Did you see the bald Lego?
You guys fit into Sue?
Can you give Brian the Legos back?
Nah, man, Sue.
The law says you
You guys fit in a sue. Can you give Brian the Legos back? Nah, man, sue. It's pretty much, yeah, so far so good.
have to give the Legos back.
Sue.
Uno Reverso. I
Sue.
make a company called We Steal From Old People with the slogan of Blix and Minifigs. Sick.
Blix and
Not only did we
Minifigs.
create We Steal From Old People, but I also got a bunch of my friends to be franchise owners so we can shuffle blame. Oh yeah. So we
Y'all,
set
it
up
probably took like weeks. Like forget about hours. Like this is like at least days.
booth with merch right outside the store. And when the cops were about to arrest me, we did a little switcheroo and they could do absolutely nothing.
Yup.
Now it's time to go to corporate and see if they will sue us.
A swing and a miss.
Dang,
Yeah,
all
man.
right. Well, I guess all I can do now is get an Oregon lottery license and run a lottery on some of Brian's sets. And if Blix and Minifigs doesn't give the winner their prize,
This is
the police
so
will
cute.
have to investigate, right? Right? So after the winner was chosen, 676767, we went to claim their prize. And of course, Blix and Minifigs refused to give them their prize and called the police on us. Oh yeah, time for things to finally start going our way. And after
Yes.
explaining to them,
I'll share the link here too. Everybody go like this movie. We got him over 10,000, or the collective. I didn't get him over 10,000, but I was like, the last time we looked at his video, I was like, let's get him over 10,000. Everybody go subscribe. So go subscribe, or if you already subscribed, go show some love to this video. It's very good. It took a lot of work.
handing them
for
a
sure.
real law book, this happened.
Well, yeah, we do have to investigate this. Is what I would say if I wasn't corrupt.
Dang, all right. After arguing with the
Dang,
police for a
alright.
bit longer, they finally let us go. But then Bosch called us.
Man, y'all are low-key threatening my business and stuff, and I'm not gonna lie, TS is not tough, bro. No one cares if it's stolen or not.
I think Bosch just needs a little motivation to give the Legos back, so we changed all of their signs and printed them out. But then he just called again.
Hey, bro, I think suing is low-key a very good and cool idea for you to do.
You want to do double or nothing?
I love how Josh, for some reason, has like a country, like cowboy accent. I don't know why, but that's how it's going in this production.
Heck, my man.
Scaredy cat, scaredy cat.
Kid, you stupid. What's 9 plus 10?
19.
Dang, alright, I can give the Legos back if Brian gives me a written apology.
Well, all that's left to do now is meet up with Brian and get the apology.
No, screw them. They probably just want to use the apology as a way to get off court.
There's
Brian might be
Brian.
right
Oh my
about
God, did
this,
y'all
so
see the
I made an
Brian?
AI version of Brian apologizing and sent it to Bosch.
I totally forgot about the AI version of him apologizing. There's so much happening.
I made a severe and
That's supposed to be AI. This is crazy. This is like, golly, I can't even imagine how much work this took. This is supposed to be Brian Mansell like depicted as AI, but really the person who said it, I think, was Sheldon.
was lapse in my judgment.
Open Gangnam Style.
Sick. We chilling
Yeah,
now.
Ben saw this and was like, "Do you want a job?"
You just gotta apologize to the manager and we Gucci.
So we went back into the store, and the manager immediately called the cops on us.
911, what's your emergency?
I'm being harassed.
Why did they make Amanda a grandma?
So do we just wait around for the cops, or?
We waited for a little
Oh my
while, but the
God, I'm
cops
scared to know what the kids think about me. They probably think I'm a grandma too.
showed up. So I called Bosch back, and he said it was all good and Brian would be getting his Legos back tomorrow. Yeah, so they told me tomorrow for a month and then said...
Yeah, he did do a video about how he got this job. I covered it already, and I shouted him out and told everybody to go subscribe, and I shared his video in the description box of that video. But yeah, he did do a video on that. If y'all missed it, there's a video about how he came to be an animator on part 3.
They wouldn't do anything. So we went back to the store and skipped a bunch of information so this video isn't too long. Well, time to go through the small claims court and sue them 10 times. How though? We just bought all of Brian's Legos from him and filed 10...
I'm gonna let y'all know, when this part of the video happened, that's when my brain started spinning. Like when this part of Ben's, like part 1 part 1, and they're like, this person needs to give this person a loan, and then they split the claims, and then I'm sure there's something to it. I was like very lost and confused at that part.
Now all that is left to do is serve the papers and wait for the court date and listen to Bosch say we stole the Legos, which definitely isn't foreshadowing. And guess who didn't show up to court? Obviously Bosch. So we just won $100,000. Oh yeah. Oh no, they shut down the store. Well, crap. Guess I just have to make part 2. Thanks for the free content, Blix and Minifigs.
Anyway, shout out to him. JB Films, very good, very talented, a lot of patience. I want to reward the kids that still have patience to do things with attention and likes and clicks personally. Now there was something else. Did they change? Oh, this. Here's some scandal for y'all. Here's some scandal. The question going around on the Reddit, it looks like they might have changed the description for the search engine optimization, the SEO. Because look, this is what it looks like now. Okay. Looks like they changed their description. It just says Bricks and Minifigs is your trusted Lego aftermarket reseller for minifigures, sets, bricks, and accessories. But then I was trying to find the old SEO description. Was this it? Still up on Google? I assume the reason for the changes. Yeah. So this is what it says now. Bricks and Minifigs, right? But it used to say this. Authorized Lego resellers near me. Oh, so that's got them really coming up with some theories over there on the Reddit. Somebody said, I guess the reason for this change is Lego. Maybe Lego didn't want them saying that they were authorized Lego resellers. Someone said, wait, this is actually really big news. I doubt they would change it unless directed to by Lego Group. This shitstorm may have lost them their recently acquired deal with Lego. Now, just to be clear, I never was able to ascertain whether or not they actually did have a deal with Lego. From what it looked like to me, they were still trying to negotiate this deal with Lego. And what that would have allowed them to do is to purchase directly from Lego instead of going through a so-called, middleman or a third party. It would have probably allowed them to get better prices and allowed them to just have more power within the, whole entire bricks world, the whole brick minifig world of all this whole thing. Now, some people have said they already just now did start to have, there's different, I don't know. Nobody invited me to the negotiation table. I'll say that. They were in talks. Monkey said you can pay to use Lego's name for a fee, from what I understand. Right. So I don't know. Maybe this is just totally, coincidence. Maybe not. But it used to be like for sure when you typed in bricks and minifigs in Google, it would say authorized Lego resellers near me. It would say that. Let me see. Just do a little experiment here. Bricks and minifigs. Can you spell that? Yeah. Bricks and minifigs. Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, hold on. Bricks and minifigs. Oh, it says something different for me. Look. Bricks and Minifigs, Lego minifigures, sets, and bricks reseller. Okay, so I don't see authorized. Oh, here it is. Yeah, they still do have it up. Authorized Lego resellers near me. Okay, so womp. Maybe this is a nothing. Okay, maybe this is a nothing. Because look, they're acting like, okay, Lego authorized reseller gives permission, this, that, and the other. It still says that on mine. It still says authorized Lego resellers near me on my Google search when I search it. Okay, so perhaps Reddit theory debunked in real time on the live. All right. Let's see what else. All right. So I think there were a couple more issues I wanted to talk about today. Larry Schmidt from the Registered Agents Inc. from the BAM. The BAM Franchising Inc. You know how there's a new one that just opened this week or last week? BAM Franchising Inc. and Larry Schmidt is the incorporator. Well, I did some research into Larry Schmidt and that company, and I wanted to go over that as well, but I think I'm probably going to do that in my next video. Let's check the Pacer document. Excuse me, the Pacer docket. For any updates on Ben's case. / Brian Mansell's case / Reckless Ben LLC's case. Last document I remember seeing is document number 24. Looks like nothing since. Nothing since. Nothing there. BAM has plants on Reddit to make us waste time. Could be. Well, I don't waste much time. Oh, shout out to the real JB Films. We were just now watching your fabulous, wonderful. Put some claps. Can we get some claps in the chat for real JB Films? I'm just so proud of, you and impressed by you that you take all the time to do all this stuff. I know that this generation, I'm anti. I'm not saying this in a demeaning way, but this generation has a little bit of issues with paying attention, and they got the brain rot and stuff. So I'm just so proud of you for continuing to do this tedious type of art and all that. And shout out to you. Look at all the claps. You're very, very appreciated over here. Thank you for making art and wonderful things for the world. I really, really am very impressed with that. That is very amazing to me. And over here, my opinion's the only one that matters. So it's a really big deal if it's amazing to me. Anyway. Thanks so much to Kevin Adams for the $2.99 Australian. It means it means you can sell Lego exclusive sets. Interesting. That makes sense because thank you for the $2.99. So it's not only do you get to deal directly with Lego, but you can sell there's certain sets that only Lego exclusive stores can sell. So that would actually be probably somewhat of a revenue driver. Look at all these claps. Oh my gosh, y'all really are clapping. Stop motion old savoir faire is great. What's that? Yes. Son of Gumby and Pokey. Oh yeah, I used to watch that. I used to like that. It's Coraline stop motion too, right? I wish Lego would take a stand and create a Reckless Ben minifig limited edition 5K and use the funds to make everyone whole. Also, the people who did wrong need to be held accountable for their crimes. I'm trying to get a minifig. I want a little minifig merch, but I got to find a manufacturer. I want a minifig of me, a limited edition me minifig with a superhero cape or something. Okay, there's literally nothing else happening on the Pacer. Okay, so we're going to talk about Larry Schmidt and Registered Agents Inc. next time. We're going to talk about Art and Barbara McOmber. We're going to talk a little bit more about Kai McAllister and the conservatorship, guardianship going on in his family. This is a public record. And, yeah, that's pretty much what I have for next time. But who knows? There's going to be all kinds of... Yeah, I'm a minifigs collector, and this is one of my few minifigs. I have Mandalorian and Grogu, and I also have 2 Moanas for some reason. I don't know what they doing with that. There's I got one Lego set to build on this podcast, on MLS's podcast, and it had 2 different little sets of Moana in it. That was confusing to me, but I built them both. All the Frosty, yeah. Yeah, I know. All the Frosty and Rudolph art is our stop motion too. Our stop motion. Sorry, I was reading. Oh, it does say art. Yeah, remember the old holiday movies? Did BAM really cut ties with Josh and Brandon? Have not heard anything about them since. Corporate and franchise both. Thank you so much to Spike Frugal Fixer for the $4.99. Did Bam really cut ties with Josh? You know, that's one of those words. It could really mean anything. Cut ties. They cut ties with them as Oregon store owners. Well, I guess we're going to see when they file this FDD for next year. Not that they always tell the appropriate, accurate things on that either. Thank you for the $4.99. Just popped into a man in a costume singing and dancing. I'm loving it. Yes, I'm sure you are. I am Dinosaur with your costume on. Thank you for the $4.99. That was funny. That was funny. I had to watch that one twice. Thank you, Dan Booz. If I recall correctly, they became a Lego authorized reseller in April this year. So Bricks and Minifigs, they proper blew it. If Lego took that back. Ooh. Yeah, I've heard both. I've heard some people say they were a Lego authorized reseller, and then I've heard people say they hadn't yet. They were in talks. So I don't know. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Or £5 super chat. I'm scary if you suck. Who's Shaun the Sheep? Is that stop motion too? Josh's tie was way too long anyway. JB Films, awesome work. Fan of your stop motion Nightmare Before Christmas. Do they ever do a hostile takeover of Josh and Brandon's store? Or also, did Josh and Brandon do a hostile takeover of that Eugene store? Remember there's a Eugene store? Was that one hostile took over? You know, everybody's kind of saying this. Did you do a deep dive into Brandon? I can't really find much. I did look into him. I found his home address, which is public. I'm not going to obviously share that, but maybe it's because his name is not search engine-able. I really didn't find much. I looked at, all my usual places where I look, and I did not find much. So until we get more information about him, I don't think I'm going to be able to come up with too much on him. I did look. I just haven't found, and I'm not going to be going offline or anything, So maybe some more stuff will come out. I'll take another look. But yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in him. He's kind of very elusive as far as I can tell. Only thing I can find is he worked at a car dealership and had zero experience with cars. Well, that's interesting because of Driven Capital. Driven Capital, LLC with Reed and what's his name? Scott Payron. Maybe Brandon is his new name. Yeah, maybe. Brandon probably paid to have his history scrubbed. Interesting. A lot of people do that, and I can still find stuff, though. Tim Burton did a lot of stop motion. Kai is begging for Bam to be sued. Maybe someone has a good claim and lawyers to go against Bam. Well, Kai's LinkedIn has been taken down. So it's hard to tell, if he's still representing to the public that he works at the Brick and the Minifig. Maybe he got fired already. I don't know. Okay, I'll see y'all in the next one. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, neither are opinions. Please don't contact anybody that I mentioned in this video. That's not the purpose of this video. If you contact somebody mentioned this video, they might sue you, and then they might say it was me that did it. Okay, so I'm just asking you, please don't do that. Please don't go into real life and act crazy or do any of that. If you need to express your grievances, please do so peacefully to the right channels, like specifically to the report a cop button, report to the Attorney General, report to the FTC, FCC girl, I don't know, but do it civilly. And everybody's innocent till proven guilty. Until they're actually proven guilty, they are all presumed innocent. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.